The 93X Half-Ass Morning Show podcast is sponsored by Standard Heating and Air Conditioning.
Standard Heating and Air Conditioning is currently hiring experienced and entry-level HVAC technicians. Apply today at standardheating.com.
The 93X Half-Assed Morning Show. 93X.
New York Governor Kathy Hochul ordered the state liquor authority to allow bars to serve alcohol as early as 8 a.m. for the Buffalo Bills game played in London. Not only that, during the Giants game, she temporarily legalized heroin.
Hey guys, I heard about a man in the UK who said that he found a fried screw in his KFC fries. It turns out it was from a chicken that had a hip replacement.
Oh, happy birthday, Dave.
Well, thanks, Bill. That's very nice.
It's one of my favorite books. I thought you'd like it too.
Crazy from the Heat by David Lee Roth. He's from Van Halen, right?
I don't know what town he's from. But apparently he was some kind of musician before he started writing. Great read. Plus you can pretty much finish it in one night.
Heads up, David Lee Roth is alive. Today is his birthday.
It's David Lee Roth. Now, you just did something. You auditioned women for your movie Crazy from the Heat. Now, what happened? Was it just madness? How many showed up?
Oh, man, we're off to our flying start. We're making movies, you know? So he said, well, when it's time to look for the talent, when we're going to find the actors and the actresses, let's go right to the street, because that's where I found my music.
You're so up and you're so alive and you're so vibrant. What do you do on your days off? Do you come down or you're this much fun with your friends?
We idle. We eat a lot of fiber, man.
What's the best thing about being a rock and roll star?
Oh, the fringe benefits.
Yeah.
That's the best thing.
So successful now. So many things are opening up. Where do you see yourself in 10
I can
years?
only pitch for the next 10 months. There's no real security in this business. That's part of the reason I got this job.
Yeah,
you know?
yeah.
And then maybe back to aluminum siding.
Oh, well, if you're selling, I'm buying, okay? Thank you so much.
Oh, wow. Is it David Lee Roth's birthday?
69 today.
We should have some kind of a party for Diamond Dave. Maybe certainly the greatest frontman in rock history. Maybe the greatest entertainer of all time.
I liked your warning in the intro there, Josh, that he was not dead.
Well, I put it together, and then I realized last time we did a montage for a birthday, we got text saying, oh, no, I didn't know they died.
Poor Bill Murray.
Yeah, that's why I threw this in there.
I wasn't worried about the David Lee Roth thing, because if Dave would have passed, I would have felt that a long time ago.
Yeah, it would have shook the earth. You're right, though. He is the greatest front man of all time.
Happy birthday, David Lee Roth. What a fun way to start the show. I remember that audio from when he was a guest on The Tonight Show when Joan Rivers was the guest host. Johnny Carson had to take a couple weeks off, and Joan Rivers would fill in at times back in the mid-'80s. And I remember when Dave made that appearance on The Tonight Show, and he had that great line in the interview that I still remember to this day. He had so many corny jokes. Some of them you had no idea what he was talking about. Still to this day, if David Lee Roth gets talking, it's likely that you have absolutely no idea what he's talking about. The man
and he seems like he's getting stranger.
He is.
Too.
He's getting weirder by the day, and he's been weird from the word go. But so he's sitting there with Joan Rivers, and she was asking him something about his wardrobe, his costumes and such that he wears on stage. And Dave said he's got a certain pair of pants that he calls his Jesus pants. And she said, what's the story behind the Jesus pants? And he said, well, they're assless pants. And he wears them at times live on stage. His entire naked ass is hanging out the back of the pants. And she said, well, why do you call them the Jesus pants? And he says, because when I put them on before the show and I walk past the stage crew, they all go, oh, Jesus. Love that line. One of my favorites. That suit is you, Cubby. You'll get some leg tonight for sure. Tell us how you do. Come on, Dave. Give us a break. Hey. One break. Coming up. Change. Good morning, derelicts and vagabonds. Welcome to the 93X Half-Ass Morning Show. What the hell's going on? It's Tuesday morning. Big ball game this afternoon.
That's right.
I'm so nervous.
Some of you might be awake already just to give yourself more time to drink before you head downtown to scream your balls off at the Twins and the Astros.
It's going to be a party downtown today.
I'm sure it will be. I remember when I was young enough and tough enough to pregame drink 7 or 8 hours ahead of a ball game. Never failed to make me an even more passionate fan. Never failed. Big game today. Hey, Josh, we got a listener out there who loves to start trouble via the text machine.
There's a couple of those.
This guy comes at us cute over the text. Last time we talked about him, he was coming after us saying that White Lion, the rock band White Lion, their cover of the song Radar Love sucked. Remember, we had a massive conversation about this.
That's a dumb statement on his part, but I do love the commitment to the bit.
It was a silly, foolish statement on his part to go after White Lion like that. But he's back. This morning, he's texted again. And here's where he's going this time. He likes to start trouble with us. So here's where he's going on this special day. He said, hey, did you know they're giving away bottles of lotion at the Twins game today? So everyone can collectively masturbate over Joe Mauer all over again. I remember that about that guy. Over the years, he really likes to go after Joe Mauer. Guy doesn't hit any home runs.
Yeah, he's catching the first pitch. Johan's throwing it out. That is very exciting for me.
That is really cool.
Mm-hmm.
That's right.
Which parts? Both?
Yeah, both of them. Those guys, those are two of my favorites of all time.
They were awesome. Absolutely awesome back in the day. So, we got plenty of time later to rap about the big ball game. Dick Bremer will be hopping on air with us at 7:30. Twins all-time great play-by-play man, Dick Bremer. Jungle Jane, too, around 7:30.
I wish Dick was doing the calls for the Twins games.
Yeah,
it's too bad they can't work that out.
Yes. That's too bad. The big cats, ESPN and TBS and all that, they hop on board and take things over. Yeah, I'd love to be hearing Dick Bremer and say LaTroy Hawkins calling these games. But I bet you Dick enjoys the downtime and just being able to watch as a fan. We got plenty of time to talk it over later. The Twins and the Astros. How many of you have one of those Ring doorbell cameras hooked up so you can see folks coming to your front step?
I do.
Something similar.
Something similar. Mm-hmm. Ashley, you got some kind of a setup?
Yep.
I don't, but my girlfriend does, and I enjoy it. It's kind of fun. Kind of see what's going on outside.
Well, is this something you're sitting at her apartment, you can flip on your cell phone or something and just see what's going on outside the house at all times?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and she's got one in the living room, too, so we can see what the dog's up to as well, which is always kind of fun.
Same thing at our house. We have one in the living room and one at the front door.
Do you guys avoid getting amorous in the living room then, or do you just go for it willy-nilly?
I have when I've been at her place while she's working. I have kind of thought, like, I should kind of be careful about what I'm doing. Not that I'm doing anything too nefarious, but, like, we're like, whatever I'm doing right now, she could pull up her phone and watch me.
Like, what if you farted crazy loud and it went on forever?
It was so loud it sent her a notification as if something was wrong.
Yeah. There's a sound alert.
I would ask for the audio clip of that. I would need that.
And what if you're watching something absolutely filthy and she catches you doing it and you're wearing her underwear?
Well, what if you're touching yourself in the middle of the living room again?
Why are you guys all explaining things I've done before? This is so weird. Do you guys have access to that camera too?
Well, if it's on the internet, I think you could probably figure out how to get access to it.
This stuff is crazy nowadays, so you can see what's going on in this room, that room. All you got to do is turn on your cell phone. You can see what's going on outside the front door. Well, specifically,
it's nice to have.
I bet it is. It sounds like fun. It sounds like something that could kill an hour or two. Here's the deal. Specifically, speaking of those front door cameras, I guess, Ring front door cameras, whatever they do, they're offering to pay $1 million If your doorbell camera catches actual footage of aliens, they're running a contest called the $1 Million Search for Extraterrestrials. And you have until November 3rd to submit your video of aliens. Well, that doesn't give folks much time. Well, maybe it does, November 3rd.
You got plenty of time.
Yeah, you got about a month.
I got
Get it
lost.
done.
I got lost there. I didn't realize, we're not that deep into October yet, so you do have some time. It doesn't have to be high-def footage of, E.T. Waving at the camera.
Hi, I'm an alien.
That's kind of weird that they put that in there since they're in the business of selling cameras.
Yeah.
It just has to be unusual, extraordinary, or unexplainable behavior. But it has to be indisputable evidence that aliens are in our town.
Well, I don't think they're going to be coming over here anytime soon. I doubt they want to hang out in this area.
Why do you say such a thing?
I don't know. There's not really. I think if an alien came to Earth, they would probably go to an area like New York or California to do more damage.
Well, what if they wanted to watch the twins at home?
Yeah.
That's true. I didn't think about that. That's so dumb of me.
And you're automatically assuming that they mean harm.
Oh, yeah.
They could be coming to party, actually.
That might offend an alien.
I would actually think they would come here because we have a lot of open spaces and there's not a lot of bright lights or anything around. When I lived in Lionel Lakes...
Oh, here we go.
Well, there was always this thing. People would always say, I saw an alien in Scandia. It was always Scandia because there was open fields and farms and stuff like that.
It does seem like farmland gets it right with the crop circles and the mutilated cows.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. If you listen to the stories over the years about supposed alien sightings, it's often in the middle of by God nowheres like Scandia.
Yeah. Wouldn't you think that, in Las Vegas or New York, there's so much light pollution that you wouldn't even see them? So they could just be hanging around there, too? Hovering above and UFOs?
I don't understand. I got to be honest, I don't understand the Nevada alien connection. You've lost me on that one. Framer God Jesus said that he's got a family reunion coming up. Can I just record that and send it in?
Oh, man.
A couple of weirdos in the family, maybe? Yeah, I've never caught anything real cool on a camera. I did catch a crime, I guess, at a previous house.
Oh, yeah?
I caught somebody stealing some stuff off my neighbor's porch. I had my camera faced, there was a park across the street, and you could see the guy walking from my neighbor's house, and he kind of just sat on this gift in the parking lot of the park. And it was a gift for a 2-year-old's birthday party, so there wasn't really much that he got, but he just sat there for a little while.
So he stole it. He stole it. Then he used it as a chair to rest himself at the park.
Just kind of sat there for a bit and then took off.
And you had footage of what the man looked like. Did you turn it over to the police?
Oh, yeah, I'm a narc.
Oh.
Yeah. I got a lot of better stuff from the shower cam I had installed at the neighbor's house, but that was a pretty good one.
Dude.
We got a lot of wildlife, certainly, on that deal.
Didn't you also have a friend that rang your doorbell with a dildo on his chin?
That is correct. Yes, I do have footage of that. I have footage of me falling in the driveway, taking a garbage can out.
Oh, that's good.
My stepdaughter gave me a lot of crap about that until she said, hey, check the cameras the next morning, and there's a video of her falling at the exact same spot in the driveway.
Mine doesn't record. I can't go back and watch video from the previous day. It just alerts me. I can watch it in real time.
You need a subscription.
Gotta pay for that.
You got to pay.
I was just going to ask. So you're able to, if you want to, if you pay enough, like Wapple's saying, you can download it and save it. Mm-hmm. Okay.
And it on this $1 million, even if you don't believe in it, they'll give you a $500 Amazon gift card for the most creative fake video.
Well, let's get you dressed up, Wapple. Let's have you running around the front yard.
Yeah,
maybe we get some alien-dressed trick-or-treaters or something like that.
Yeah, I'm going to stand in the front door and go, hi, I'm Doug, and then walk away.
That's a reference I did not catch.
I don't know what's happening.
Wasn't it that movie company at the end of it? It was like an alien, and at the end he'd be, hi, I'm Doug.
Movie company at the end of what?
When they have, the lion. They have the lion that roars.
Sure,
MGM
that would be MGM Movie Studios, yes.
At the end of one of these movie companies, every movie they made, they had this alien that was like, hi, I'm Doug.
No, you're hitting, oh my gosh, I remember that. It's deep in my memory.
Yeah,
can't remember what
Wapple's
that was
right.
for.
So Ring doorbell cameras, they know this is a tall order to get aliens on your doorbell cam by November 3rd and turn it into them. So they are going to give away some money for the most creative fake video.
That could be a lot of fun.
Well, $1 million ain't nothing to them.
A $500. No, I'm sure it's not.
I think they're doing okay.
At Ring doorbell camera
it's
company.
Amazon.
Oh, Amazon. So who's running this?
Well, Amazon owns Ring.
Mm-hmm. Oh, I wouldn't. Sorry about that. They're giving out a $500 Amazon gift card for the most creative submissions that don't qualify for the $1 million prize. So something funny. So let her buck. Maybe there's some future Steven Spielberg types out there. Costumes and props are allowed, but it has to be filmed on your Ring camera. Judging will be based on creativity and humor, as my dad would say. Humor.
Okay, here it is. It was, "Hi, I'm Paul." It was an alien monkey with 3 eyes, and it was for DNA Productions. That's what it was.
Well, you got to the bottom of that.
Yeah, I did. That would have bugged me all day. Not even joking.
You mentioned bright lights earlier. Not a lot of bright lights in these studios. I'll tell you that much right now. Nothing too bright in here at all.
Is it too bright in here?
There's nothing bright in here.
You want me to turn some things down?
Never mind.
He was talking about me.
That goes along with what I was just saying.
Perfect.
Oh, I see what you mean. Stupid people.
Yeah, not a lot of light bulbs turning on in here.
Nope.
I thought maybe because of, you have a certain condition where lights bother you, that I needed to start diving for the switches.
No, not at all.
Give us a math lesson, and boy, we're really going to shut out.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. By the way, we're still waiting on that math test from Dana's supposed teacher friend.
Oh, yeah, what happened?
I think he made it up.
No, we have the test. He hasn't given me the answer key yet. I'm not smart enough to figure out the answers myself, so I need him to send me the answer key. He's going to do that this morning.
That doesn't sound promising.
A few days ago, we were
so bad.
A few days ago, we were talking about maybe Wapple and I should take a 5th, 6th, 7th grade level math quiz and see who's the worst of the two of us, because we both struggle with arithmetic. We'll get around to that at one point or another.
How difficult is it?
It looks pretty tough to me.
I mean, like what grade level was it again?
It's a 6th grade math quiz. There's lots of algebra type of questions. There's also some word questions, which he worded them very funny. Like, Wapple's landlord increased his rent by 10%. Now he must, like that kind of stuff.
Great.
Yeah, it's very funny.
Well, if it was Wapple, it'd be 10.25%. He gets very specific.
I always hated those math questions where they would be like, "You and 5 friends found a boat, and you all have to get across to the other side. Susie can't be with Paul. Paul can't be with John."
Oh, dude, I loved those.
How many times do you go back and forth? Oh, I hated those.
Absolutely loved. I loved anything with words when it came to math. I'm like, oh, perfect. Not like a million symbols I can actually read.
Boy, it's been a long time for me. I've tried to help my kids with the math, and it doesn't work so well for me.
Yeah, I don't even really know what to expect when the time comes.
I thought of another thing I caught on the camera. I caught one of the weirder kids in the neighborhood turning off our grill for no reason.
Yeah, I remember you telling that.
It was odd. It's the same kid that turned our thermostat up to 100.
How's that kid doing?
He's behind bars.
Makes sense.
That makes me feel safe.
What was this? I got to hear the grill story again, so tell me the situation, because it is kind of creepy, and I think when you've told these stories before, I think we are kind of all collectively worried about this child.
There's some weird stuff going on with this kid. But he, a former neighbor, he just, for whatever, you see him come up to our grill, right? And then he walks away.
Nobody's home.
No, we were home. It was outside. It was on, right?
Oh, you're cooking food.
Yeah.
Oh.
And so he comes up to it, and then he kind of scurries away. And then he sneaks up to it again, and then he runs away. And then he comes up again and just stands and stares at it for an uncomfortable amount of time. Like, in a horror movie where a kid's just frozen.
Well, like those scary scenes from Paranormal Activity where the girlfriend's staring at her boyfriend while he sleeps for 7.5 hours. Yeah.
It was like that, and then all of a sudden he just turned it off and ran away. It was odd. It's the oddest thing.
That is weird.
Yeah.
And so you were sifting through your doorbell camera footage, and you just said, "What the hell is this?"
Well, we were here. Like, how did that happen? How did the grill get shut off? It doesn't make any sense. And so I looked back and I watched this, and it kind of freaked me out. Like, what the hell's going on?
I'd be terrified.
So you no longer live near this child?
No, we moved for that reason.
I'm not trying to freak anybody out, but I had a lot of buddies growing up who were a little different, and a lot of them did end up troubled in one way or another, myself included. But the weirdest one. And when you tell that story, Josh, it reminds me of my weirdest friend. He did end up pretty much put away forever. Just saying. He did the oddest little obscure things like that.
Do you have any examples that you can think of?
None that I really want to share on the radio.
Oh, okay.
So what else is going on around here? Apparently, there's still a room or two available at the hotel for our Wisconsin sex party getaway weekend coming up next weekend.
Yeah, that came up quick, didn't it?
Not really, to be honest with you.
Oh, did you really?
No, it seems like it's been taking forever to get to our Wisconsin sex party getaway weekend. The Brotherhood Border Bash is the formal name for it. Next weekend at St. Croix Casino, Turtle Lake. So if you've been sitting around going, she's probably sold smooth, apparently there's still some room. Next week, the 19th through the 21st, so that'll be Thursday up until Saturday. Got a live broadcast, who cares? Concert, 10 years is in concert Friday night. Happy hours, hanging out in the sports book. The Nick and Josh hot tub meet and greet and potluck party. The Josh versus Ashley beer chug-a-lug showdown during the live broadcast Friday morning.
I've been training. I had one sip of beer Friday right in front of Ashley.
Oh, gosh, you're going to destroy me.
I know.
But our promotions department is telling us there's still time to book your trip. Information is at 93x.com. Sponsored by MinnesotaFatLoss.com and Stittsworth Meats, don't you know? Still time.
Terry interned Jesus on the kid that was kind of odd at my house, my former neighbor. He said, he touched a man's grill and a man's thermostat? Straight to jail!
I didn't think about that.
You don't touch, just like you don't touch a person's radio.
Yeah.
You do not touch a man's grill and thermostat.
He was starting a war with you specifically.
I never even considered the implications of what he actually... I just thought it was a weird couple things to do. But yeah, that's infuriating now that I think about it.
He's showing dominance.
And I think he won. We moved.
He's like, get out of my neighborhood.
That does go against bro code. No question about it.
Yeah, you can't. Those are sacred. Can't mess with that stuff.
Oh, man. There you go. See, now I'm sitting here racking my brain trying to come up with a shareable story about my childhood friend who turned out to be terrible, terrible trouble. Josh's story about this weird grill thermostat toucher kid reminds me of this pal that but a lot of the stuff that he did was just, it was kind of abusive. Sorry, I can't come up with a clean one.
That's not good.
No.
Yeah, I'm going to agree. That's bad. Anything
sign.
abusive, bad.
Right.
Although Nick told me he abused some chili last night. And he might be abusing my olfactory senses today.
Yeah, I'm so sorry, Josh.
Sure.
I mean, I could not stop.
I get that way.
I could not stop just windmilling hot chili into my yap as I was watching baseball games last night. It was the first thing I told Josh when I walked in. I said, I couldn't stop eating chili last night. I'm worried about the outcome this morning. But he's always so patient with me. He always says, no, it's going to be okay.
Nobody understands binge eating chili or any, kind of soupish type food more than me.
And you had enchiladas yesterday, too, didn't you, Josh?
And enchilada soup.
Wow, that studio is deadly.
That's a perfect storm in there today.
I don't really get that way for whatever reason. I don't know what's going on.
All right,
well, lucky you.
All right, I came up with...
lucky Nick.
I came up with one little story, one shareable story about my childhood friend who turned out to be nothing but trouble. That reminds me or Josh's story of the thermostat grill kid reminds, back in grade school, you'd go out and hit recess, right? Remember recess?
Sure do. Loved it. It was the best.
That's what we called it in my neighborhood back in grade school when they'd cut us loose on the playground there for a half hour or whatever. And this was a particular day where a crew had come to our playground and laid down some loose rock. They were preparing to retar the playground or something, but for this particular day, there was just loose rock everywhere. And before we went to recess, we were warned, be careful. It's all loose rock. If you're trying to play kickball, you're going to fall on your ass. Look out for the loose. And so we just kind of all collectively stood around for that recess because we knew we were dumb enough to hurt ourselves if we tried to play four square or whatever. So my buddy, the weird one, he spent the entire recess creating breasts out of the loose rock. Everyone's standing around talking, socializing, hitting on girls. This is like 5th, 6th grade, but not this buddy of mine. He sits there with this obsessive look on his face, creating perfect women's going as far as to going into the woods to find darker rocks for the nipples.
Whoa. By himself, too. That's weird.
And he plants the darker rocks on top to complete his task. Look, I've created, and everyone's just saying to themselves and to each other, what the hell is this? And then that all maybe isn't that weird, really. I mean, when you're a little kid, you do weird things. But the part that struck me at the time, and it didn't dawn on me till later, that, when we were young, we called them a duty. That was the adult who looked after recess. They were called duties. Okay?
I thought you were referring to something totally different.
Yeah.
A duty walks up and realizes that my buddy has made these filthy graphic breasts out of the loose rock, and she says, well, that's wrong. I want you to erase that, knock that. And he flipped out. He flipped out and acted as if he was so terribly wronged and he should be appreciated for so he has this massive temper tantrum and he refuses to destroy his fake breast that he's made out of loose rock. And he got in a big pile of trouble for that.
What?
Yeah, that's a little off-putting.
Like F-bombing the adult for not appreciating his...
Well, how did they look?
They were absolutely beautiful.
I mean, it sounds like the detail was off the charts.
The detail was insanely perfect in every way. There you go.
What wasted talent?
In a lot of ways, you're probably right. Okay, we got to get going. Coming up at 7:30, we're going to talk to Dick Bremer and Janel Klein. We'll get to talking all about that ball game today. It's going to be a massive party. Very much looking forward to watching the game on television. This and that and the other thing, stupid news. That'll be around the corner here shortly on the Half-Ass Morning Show.
The 93X Half-Ass Morning Show.
Our experienced and certified technicians at Standard Heating have been trusted to keep our fellow Minnesotans comfortable and confident for over 90 years. We're ready to do the same for you, providing comfort you deserve since 1930.
And now is a great time to join their team. Standard Heating and Air Conditioning is currently hiring experienced and entry-level HVAC technicians, dedicated to improving the work-life balance of their employees by providing benefits that include parental leave and 401k match. Apply today at standardheating.com.
We're all juggling life, a career, and trying to build a little bit of wealth. The Brown Ambition podcast with host Mandy and Tiffany the Budgetnista can help.
If I do even consider lending, I always ask myself, will this solve the problem? So I know you don't have your money for mortgage because you don't have a job. So what happens next month? Oh, I don't know. I'm going to have to think about the next month. Now, it's another thing if you're like, hey, Tiffany, I have $1,000 left to pay my car and then I'm car note free and I'll be able to pay you back, the 3 months I used to pay my car note. That solves the problem.
Brown Ambition.
Wherever you listen.
Stupid news on the Half-Assed Morning Show.
I'm a little behind over here. Oh, God help us. Here we go with our stupid news segment on David Lee Roth's 69th birthday. How about that, Josh?
It's momentous.
Appreciate you. I appreciate you bringing that up earlier. Kind of a fun day. It's David Lee Roth's birthday. Although I must say right here from the get-go, the stupid news has me a little pissed off. Our very first story here now then involves a lady who attacked a mascot, and that gets me aggravated. Because as you guys know, I love a good mascot.
They're great. They put a smile on your face.
Absolutely, they do.
An example of a good mascot would be Goldie Gopher, who just happens to be the greatest mascot in the world. I don't know what I would do if anyone ever attacked Goldie. I fear that I would become unreasonable. Unreasonable.
He is so cute.
And just for the record, Bucky Badger is nothing more than a skunk in a popcorn box. Here's the deal. A 41-year-old drunk lady got arrested after attacking a mattress store mascot in a town called Durango, Colorado. It happened outside a store called The Mattress Outlet on September 27th, so a handful of days ago. Their mascot is a 6-foot-tall mattress named Maddie.
Cute.
He is pretty cute.
He's a decent-looking mascot. You know, my favorite thing about Maddie the mattress is that he looks so sleepy.
Oh, look, I got to see this
His
guy.
eyes are droopy a little bit.
Yeah, he's so sleepy because he's so friggin' comfortable. You're going to fall smooth asleep if you lay down on one of the mattresses that Maddie Mattress is pushing. Maddie got whooped. Maddie the mattress was only a few minutes into his shift at the mattress shop when this woman shows up, drunk, and she starts hugging him, which is nice, but then she quickly became very aggressive. The manager of the mattress joint described her as, quote, drunk out of her mind. So she kept trying to shove and trip Maddie Mattress to get him on the ground. And eventually she did knock him down. Then she stood over Maddie and started screaming profanities at him. She ain't all there, and she's full of hooch.
Mean.
Maddie got up. This was all happening outside the mattress store. Maddie got up, ran inside, and held the door closed while they called 911.
Oh, I bet that was a scene. Oh, my God.
And all the while, this drunk lady is banging on the door to get in. Maddie was terrified, and he's so sleepy.
He's so sleepy.
He's not the right mind for this. You know, I once received a hug from TC Bear, and it made my day.
How could it not?
It was pretty great.
That's a great story,
That
Josh.
is awesome.
So the lady's banging on the door to get in, cursing and swearing. She picks up a sign somehow that they had some sign out front. 10% off. She picks that up. She throws that across the parking lot. Cops showed up, and they arrested her for assault. What kind of an asswipe roughs up sleepy old Maddie the mattress?
Wash Your Brass Jesus said when he was little, Goldie Gopher gave him an oversized Gophers t-shirt, and he thanked him by promptly punching him in his Gopher family jewel.
I bet mascots do get that a lot.
Most definitely. I actually watched Goldie the Gopher was at my niece's grad party this year, and there's a bunch of little kids there, and I felt so bad for him. The way they just like pull on his little tail and
I would like to listen to a roundtable discussion of mascots talking about the trials and tribulations of being a mascot, you know, getting hit in the nuts, how bad the soup probably smells on a hot summer day, all that kind of stuff.
Some of them are just depressed. They're smoking cigarettes and drinking coffee in the basement of some sort of recreation center.
Yeah, it's like an AA meeting, but for mascots.
Just 1970s carpet, crappy pastries on a folding table somewhere in the corner.
Well, this guy just takes a rip of here. Yeah, wasn't able to get the suit off in time after chili night.
I hear you. Well, hopefully Maddie's going to be okay over at the mattress joint there in Colorado. Not too traumatized by the whole thing. We are overwhelmed with scumbag, derelict, garbage people. You don't need me to tell you that. I just don't know how some folks can live with themselves. Here's a story about a notorious wedding crasher lady. And she's been arrested again. And it's not like Wedding Crashers, the movie. She's not showing up looking to get laid. That's not the problem. She's been busted multiple times all over the southern United States, stealing gifts at weddings.
oh, that's messed up.
Going through cards and getting the cash up on out of there, like when you give someone. That's her gimmick.
When I got married, I trusted like most of the people that were at my wedding, but I still had like people that were in charge of that, making sure that the gifts weren't out for very long and like make sure that you're taking the cards every couple minutes.
Well,
or
you
so.
know, Ashley, we were there. We saw the crowd that you run with. I would have someone keeping an eye on the gifts and the money as well.
Yeah, you gotta be safe. They actually sell you know the boxes you put the wedding cards in. They sell ones that lock.
That's smart.
Jesus.
So they sell ones that lock?
Yeah.
I'd never heard of that.
I don't know. I don't know. That's weird. I mean, I totally understand why they do it, but it seems like, what kind of wedding is this?
How the hell do you unlock it?
I know what you mean. Oh,
you got a security guard standing nearby?
You have your own key.
Hey, Ashley, Josh here. I once got hugged by TC Bear, the mascot.
Sure.
Jealous.
Was your family the biggest suspects there? Because like Nick said, we were looking around and the family section was rough.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, family for sure. Yes.
I made sure my car was locked when I was walking into the wedding.
It's a smart move.
You're not the best looking people.
You do look like there's some sort of caper being planned.
Yeah.
You know, that family kind of has that look.
Because there usually is.
I have a family like that.
Yeah.
As soon
There's
as
a
I
few
walked
felons
in,
in the family.
I put my wallet in my front pocket as soon as I walked in.
I brought my own security.
That's who that was.
So this wedding crasher scumbag lady, she goes by the name of Sandra Lynn Henson. She's 56 years old. She looks effing 76. She was arrested at her house in Mississippi last Saturday for all of this shadiness. Cops haven't said what Henson made off with this last time around that she got caught, but they charged her with petty larceny, trespassing, all kinds of stuff. The cops in Mississippi said Henson has been arrested in Alabama, Tennessee, and a couple other states for crashing weddings and stealing money and cards from purses and such. Her crime spree dates back to 20 plus 17. When she was convicted of stealing from a wedding, she was put on probation. Then in 20-19, she was linked to thefts at 9 different weddings. She's been caught on video, strolling around wedding receptions, looking for something or another to steal. What a puke bag.
You know, she's pretty much perfectly made for this just in the looks department because she looks absolutely harmless.
She does.
And you're right. She looks a lot older. She kind of looks like a sweet old lady, but she's only 56.
She just kind of looks like your frumpy great aunt.
Yeah.
You know, who's wandering around the wedding. She's been put in prison for this. Somehow she was released and she jumped right back into the wedding crasher thievery game. Now, one of the stories going around about this wedding thief lunatic lady. This is cute. Typical wedding reception. The bride and her sister are hanging around the reception, and they notice this Henson gal eating a piece of the damn wedding cake. And they asked her who she was, who she knew, why she was there, and Henson had nothing to say. She had no response.
Nothing prepared?
Just standing there like a stupid idiot with frosting on her face. And the two gals noticed that $200 was missing from the wedding coordinator's purse. They confronted Henson. She denied being the thief, but then, yuck, ultimately pulled the cash out of her bra.
Oh, I hate it.
And admitted.
You can have that. You never do that, Ashley?
No, I did when I was younger, maybe in like middle school or so, but no, that's gross. So sweaty.
They also found a notebook on her. They found a notebook on her with a list of other weddings in the area.
She's prepared.
Yeah, I wonder what her full take is.
Yeah, good question.
I bet it's nothing to, what would the word be? I was going to say laugh at, but yeah, I mean, I bet it's pretty impressive.
Well, you know how generous some people are at weddings? Absolutely.
I bet she's got a nice blender and a nice knife set and everything.
Well, yeah, swiping all the typical wedding gifts, but Christ almighty, now that you bring it up, Josh, you go to a high class wedding, just about every swinging D that walks into the joint is handing $100 to the bride and groom, right?
True.
Yeah, maybe it's mostly checks.
Yeah, I was going to say, you got to hope for the cash envelope, not the check envelope.
Yeah, I know I say this a lot, but how can that be the person you want to be? How are you content doing that to people? Can't wrap my head around it. I can't, Cubby.
Yeah, me neither. I don't know how you get there. How you victimize other people like that. I've decided on the subject of giving money from now on, especially to young people, I'm only doing cash. And I thought of this afterwards with some of the grad parties we went to last year. There's still some checks that are outstanding, and it's driving me nuts.
I remember you mentioning that after the show one day.
Still?
I want to spend that money, but I can't. I got to leave it there for when they cash those checks.
And that's insane to me they haven't, because that's, I feel like a grad party or birthday, the first thing I do is I'm driving straight to the bank to deposit those back in the day.
My stepdaughter waited like almost a year on some of hers.
Well,
Are you even able to do that? Don't they expire after a certain amount of time?
I think you're right.
That's so funny. Sorry, Josh.
I don't even want to read this to you, Josh. You guys know Josh, right? One time TC Bear gave him a hug, and
it'll happen again.
Brightened up his day.
I heard about that once.
Got a message from Sprinkler Fitter Jesus that said, TC Bear can go hit by a car. He left me hanging without giving me a high five. F TC Bear.
Maybe you looked gross.
I bet he didn't see you.
Yeah. He didn't see you,
He was
Sprinkler
looking for
Fitter.
me in the crowd. We were going to hug.
He would never turn down a high five from any friggin' twit. What, were you wearing a White Sox shirt? Then he did the right thing.
He didn't see you.
You know who turned me down for a high five? Prince.
Oh, yeah?
Oh, my God. Are you serious? You just brought a Prince right now?
Yeah, what's going on?
That's crazy. Okay, I want to see. I was just putting something together here. Yesterday we talked about the Aztec death whistle.
Yeah.
A very old whistle that the archaeologists believed that they would use in battle to scare the opposing party, right?
Back, I think, in the, how do they say it, Josh? The 1300s.
Something like that,
Yeah.
And so here's the Aztec death whistle. Right? Now, I got to see if I can find out who. This text thing has kind of been sucking the last few days.
I think I can help you out if you're stuck on the song.
No, I know the song, but I'm trying to find who texted in to ask us to compare. Can you help me look for that, Dana? Anyways, Aztec death whistle. He wanted us to compare that to Prince Get Off, the scream in that.
Holy cow.
Dude.
Those are very similar.
Wow, yeah.
Prince was an Aztec death whistle.
A walking, talking Aztec death whistle he was.
All right, that one's a little different.
That's very good. Very solid comparison there. Yeah, many, many years ago, I was at a Timberwolves basketball game, and my buddy had the rich guy seats, second row, right up against the court, and I was sitting there one night. I had a few Steve Weisers in me, and about 5-6 chairs to my left, there was the Prince. And he got up to take a squeege or something at one point or another, and he had to cut right in front of us. So it went massive security guard, Prince, massive security guard, massive. And so when Prince walked in front of me, I don't know, you guys tell me, would you react to this? I put up my hand for a traditional high five, and I said, "Word? What up, Prince?"
And just nothing.
Nothing.
Well, how high did you have your hand? Maybe that's why.
Well,
he was a short man.
I was seated.
All right, still might be too high.
Yeah. Word? What up, Prince? He had nothing for that.
Geocaching Jesus. He's the gentleman that made the connection between Prince Get Off and the Aztec death whistle.
It's just so unsettling still. No matter how many times I hear it.
Dude, you want to hear some dark, creepy stuff? I got the goods right here. First off, an 80-year-old lady out there in Russia recently discovered she's been living with a metal needle in her brain her entire life. Man, you want to talk about an itch you can't scratch. She signed up for one of those CT scans, and doctors found a 3-centimeter-long needle up in there, stabbed into the left side of her brain. Worthy. And that's all interesting, all on its own. But the reason why the needle was in there is what might give you the creeps, by God. Taking into consideration the gal's age, she's up around 80, doctors believe that the needle was inserted into her brain by her own parents soon after her birth. As effing insane as it sounds, that kind of thing was apparently common in Russia 80-some years ago. parents over that away who couldn't afford to take care of their babies in difficult wartime conditions inserted thin needles into their brain through the soft spot in a baby's noggin in order to kill them dead.
Oh,
Sick.
not the little soft spot.
The soft spot. The story says that this method was undetectable because as some of you know, that soft spot on the top of a baby's skull closes after a stretch of time, so that leaves no evidence of the murder weapon. Is that the most effing crazy-ass, dark and terrible thing you've heard all day?
That's horrible.
I don't like that.
I mean, not as bad as Prince leaving you hanging with a high five, but pretty sick.
Mm-hmm. Right in the middle of the very exciting Wolves Sacramento Kings Tuesday night showdown back in 1996 or whatever it was. So no one's sure how this 80-year-old lady survived her parents' murder attempt. But even more remarkable, maybe not as remarkable, but the fact that she never experienced so much as a headache because of this object that was dumped into her brain. If she hadn't gone with that CT scan, she would have never known the needle was there. Doctors are going to leave it in there for her. They said she's too old to mess around with it now. Just let her buck. If it hasn't killed you yet, it probably won't come into play from here on out. A similar story in 20+20. A Chinese lady discovered 2 thin needles embedded in her brain. She has no recollection of how it got there until her brother reminded her of a game they used to play when they were young called Needle Brain. Did you guys play Needle Brain?
I've been called one.
Now, here's a gal out in Los Angeles, so this is probably going to be shady. She had dedicated her entire life to the church, as some do. She was working on becoming one of those nuns, but now she's quit that gig. Oh, okay, and now she's going to help women have orgasms instead. There's a lot going on with this gal. It all sounds kind of fishy to me. I mean, she also wants us to know about her cannabis lube company.
Oh, she's really trying.
Does she have a podcast too?
Most do.
Likely. Cannabis lube. So who knows what the truth is here? I don't know. Maybe I'm just skeptical. Katie Enright is the gal's name, who is, by the way, during her 20s, she devoted her life to the Catholic Church. And like I said, she hoped to become a nun, and she was totally celibate. I love this bit right here. She claims God had a direct conversation with her. I can't get enough of that one. She says that God more or less told her to make this career change. I don't know, maybe God said, "Hey girl, sex sells like a mother. And everyone's a sucker for anything to do with weed now, so try selling some of that stuff too." Even though her career is now heavily focused on sex, she helps women have orgasms. She said she feels more connected to God than ever before. She thinks she's still doing God's work, just in a totally new way. Yeah, go ahead, knock yourself out. Now she's some kind of sexpert. And like I was saying, she discovered how to create a weed-infused lubricant. That's the first I've heard of weed lube. What about you guys?
Yeah, first I've heard too.
Now, did you folks know that according to a doctor or two, THC applied directly to the vagina or anus can enhance the dilation of vessels and blood circulation, whatever that means?
Oh, no, really?
I didn't know, but I'll tell you, I didn't know that, but I will tell you this. Nobody's going to be dabbing my vagina or my anus with any THC sauce anytime soon.
THC sauce.
Wapple, try it.
Just dab a little on the vag.
And see what happens.
No one's dabbing me with THC juice on my anus, vagina, anything else. At first, she mixed up her own batches of weed lube cubby right there in her own kitchen. But now it's a full-on business, by damn. She's got a full-on...
That's how a lot of small businesses start. You know, right there in the kitchen, and they move on to your vagina and anus. It's natural progression.
And it says here, in the future, she wants to release more products like before and after sex gummies and anal shooters to boost pleasure during anal sex. No one's going to say, I'll give you an anal shooter. No one's going to.
That seems immature.
It does.
Yeah, that's beneath us.
Yeah, you know, I went to a Catholic school my whole life, and we never had a nun that looked quite like her. Not even close.
I definitely hit follow on Instagram.
Did you really?
Yeah.
You sick bastard.
I know.
Well, we got straight-up liars in our listening audience texting in. Straight-up liars. Here's a text from Dreams of Ashley Jesus. He said, once Kevin Garnett high-fived him and said, "What up, bass?" No, he did not. He said that to me. 1995. What up, bass? And you know that, Dreams of Ashley Jesus. Don't play with me. All right, if you can't get enough of all this hippy-dippy stuff about the human body and the female reproductive system as a magical thing and a life creator and all that, if you can't get enough of all that stuff, then get yourself a plane ride to London, because they're just about all set to reopen the Vagina Museum.
Thank God.
There are so many jokes laying around, aren't there, Josh?
Yeah, open.
The front door, the back door, it's closed for a week, once a month, all that.
You could go a lot of predictable ways.
Yeah. Apparently, the folks who run the Vagina Museum had a fundraiser type of thing, and now they got the funds to crack it back open again. They tried this before. They tried the Vagina Museum thing before. It didn't last very long, but now they raised some money. I mean, you want to talk about a big vagina museum. It's much bigger than it was a few years ago. They got a much bigger building now to host all these fun events. It opens on November 4th. November 4th, if you think you can get out that way. Viva la vulva, they say, Josh.
That makes it fun. They don't serve alcohol, though. It's dry, this vagina.
But there is going to be a snack bar in case you want to have some pie or clams, or maybe they have a box lunch. I don't know.
Tuna sandwich?
Wapple, that's gross. You're trying to make a vagina reference to food?
What's wrong with you?
I just want to go on record that I purposely left tuna out of the equation, out of the conversation. I just thought that was... Anyway, the director of the joint, a lady called Florence Schechter...
Flo. She goes by Flo.
She previously said her motivation behind this project was real simple. She upped and said, I discovered there was a penis museum in Iceland, but no vagina equivalent anywhere else, so I decided to make one up. Tuna sandwich.
Beef Cannon Jesus said the Vagina Museum has a caution sign out front that says, caution when wet, apparently. What a do Jesus said he once crop dusted Kevin Garnett. That's disrespectful.
Yeah, I saw that. That's not right. You don't do that to a legend.
Anybody here crop dust a famous person?
No, nothing's coming to mind.
Oh, that's a good question.
Oh, I got crop dusted hardcore at the Mall of America on Friday. I don't know who the culprit was, but that was bad.
You were hanging out with Ashley, right?
I didn't see her yet.
Oh, okay.
I would never do that.
No, you wouldn't. She doesn't do that.
No, women don't.
I do believe I have been crop dusted by someone who's very, very famous. You want to hear about it?
Of course.
Jesse Ventura in an elevator once.
Oh, I bet he can bring it.
Yeah, I was going to say, he's got the heat, I bet.
God help us all. All right, we're not done with the hippy-dippy this and that. Anyone want to know how to turn breast milk into soap and or lotion? Because I can tell you how.
Sure.
Some lady in Ohio did it. Or at least I can tell you that it's happened. I can't sit here and tell you all the... Josh, this here is for you. The story here calls this deal a, quote, dairy tale ending.
It's my favorite kind.
A lady who learned how to turn breast milk, her own breast milk, into soap and or lotion. She's in, like I said, Idaho. She goes by the name of Brittany Eddy. She's got a kid or two. For Christ's sake, it says her frozen breast milk supply was ruined. Her stupid-ass husband forgot to plug the freezer back in after he cleaned the garage. Ruined all of her frozen breast milk buckets. She didn't want to throw it away, so she found a way to turn her sour boob milk into boob milk soap. She did. She saw it on the internet. Someone else was doing it already on the internet, so she went ahead and tried it. She went through a few different recipes. She added some of her husband's semen. I'm kidding. She didn't add any semen. It says here breast milk contains lauric acid, which features antibacterial properties and can help calm your skin, whatever that means.
Well, like if it's irritated, things like that.
Oh.
What she's referring to.
Like maybe zits?
Or like an eczema, perhaps.
Oh. Who had the worst acne out of the five of us when they were young?
I could give you a run.
Oh!
I had it pretty bad.
I lucked out. I didn't get it too bad.
Yeah, I didn't have it too. I thought it was bad at the time, but like looking back at like the other kids around me, I didn't have it that bad.
Or maybe I had it bad, but all my friends were just
worse.
medical miracles.
Ooh,
how bad
man.
they were.
Yeah.
I definitely had a lot of dermatology appointments in middle school and high school.
I'm sorry,
I
man.
always felt for those kids. Yeah, I never, luckily, a little bit of Clearasil here and there, and I was fine.
To the point where when I would wake up in the morning, I would brush my teeth without looking in the mirror because I didn't want to look at myself because I was always so worried, like
Dana.
what sprouted the night before? What nightmare awaits me today?
Oh! Yeah, I think I was your typical zit face back in junior high and high school. Nothing special. I had a couple buddies who were they were coated in this stuff. It was real bad. Back to this gal who stirs up her breast milk and turns it into soap and lotion. She calls her business now. She's opened a business. She calls it Mama's Magic Milk, which irritates the hell out of me for some reason. She charges $30 for 6 bars of soap made with the liquid that she's squeezed out of her own nipples. She also makes diaper creams, lotions. Oh, it says here, Josh, it helps with aging, wrinkles, stretch marks, dry skin, diaper rash. Oh, here you go. You said eczema, didn't you?
I did.
If you have any cuts, it'll do something to that. It'll help your sunburn. Come on, it doesn't do all that.
Well, it doesn't surprise me. That stuff is like liquid gold, right?
Is it?
Oh yeah, it has a lot of health benefits. That's why, I bet she was way pissed at her husband for ruining all that.
Well, everyone makes mistakes.
Oh,
Can't she let it go?
I don't know.
You women just can't let it go.
That stuff would be frustrating because women hang on to it for such a long time, even afterwards, in case like their baby gets sick. It helps. It helps in other ways too, I guess. I don't know.
They do? They hang on to it afterwards?
Yeah, I think you can use it.
I wonder if we still have some.
Oh, no.
I wonder.
It's been about 12 years.
I know a dude who drove to Ely or something here from the Twin Cities to buy someone's breast milk.
You should ask your wife. Maybe there's some like stuck in the back of the freezer or something.
This pal of mine, he thought it was pretty damn original to walk up to somebody's door. You know, they connected on the internet. He had a baby. They needed to, feed the baby with breast milk. The woman he had the baby with, I don't know what happened to her breast milk. It got spilled or something. So they got on the internet and found some lady who was selling it, and my buddy had to drive to Ely, knock on a door. Yeah, hello, how can I help you? I'm here for the breast milk. I thought, wow, not many people can tell that friggin' story.
Yeah.
This person says, we definitely gave our kids baths with breast milk for any rash they got.
Oh. I'll be dipped. Yeah. Anybody ever tried it?
No.
No.
Yeah.
I'll pass. I'll live vicariously through those who do.
If it came out chilled, maybe. But
well, you could just put it in the fridge if you wanted.
True. Couple ice cubes. Couple ice cubes.
If it came out chilled, that's good.
Sports on the 93X Half-Assed Morning Show.
If you get it right now, I get to put this one up there. Hey, what the heck? What is that? Oh my God. That is not right. That is not right. It doesn't even fit on the screen. That is not accurate dimensions, Des.
Well, let's have a look at the replay. William, move your head. Look at the size of that boy's head. Shh. I'm not kidding. It's like an orange on a toothpick.
You're gonna give the boy a complex.
Well, that's a huge noggin. It's a virtual planetoid. Has its own weather system. Heed, move!
What kind of laughs were the Manning brothers having last night, Josh?
Well, Eli pulled out a big cardboard head for Peyton. Right?
So big.
And he makes the forehead just really, really long.
It barely fits on his screen.
Yeah, he mentions that. Did you post? You posted that, right,
Yep,
Ashley?
that's up.
And then the classic movie clip from I Wish I Wouldn't Have Married That Woman. What was that?
So I Married an Axe Murderer.
God, that's a funny movie.
That's really. I just watched that not too long ago.
Great movie.
That is a funny movie.
Mike Myers doing the Scottish accent.
It's orange on a toothpick.
That kid did have a big head.
He did. Remember the scene
big
where
hair, too.
A piper was down? We have a piper down! One of the pipers at the wedding reception just passed smooth out. What was that, about 1993, 4, 5? So I Married an Axe Murderer?
93.
There you go. Oh, by the way, we were talking about breast milk a few minutes ago. Got a couple listeners who have tried it, and the results are mixed. But there is one listener who has tasted breast milk before, said it's amazing, and they compare it to Fruit Loop milk.
Oh, I do love Fruit Loop milk.
Yeah, that is good milk.
So there you go. Coming up in a half hour, Dick Bremer will be joining us to talk all about this big friggin' game this afternoon down in Minneapolis. 3 o'clock at Target Field today. The Twins and Astros get it on for Game 3 of their best of 5 divisional series. Sonny Gray starts for the Twins against some jagoff. But there's all kinds of events going on. We're going to tell you all about it. Dick's going to have this and that to say. You know, Dick Bremer's dialed into this friggin' thing, so we will get there. Big League Divisional Round final scores from last night. I don't know if any of you saw the ending to the Atlanta-Philly game.
That was nuts.
Holy smokes. We'll get into that. Atlanta got a win in the series, 5-4. The series tied at 1 win apiece. And the Arizona Diamondbacks, I'm telling you, the Dodgers are in trouble. The Arizona Diamondbacks win again last night, 4-2. The Dodgers are down 2 games to rip in this best of 5. Tonight, after the Twins and Astros are all done, the Baltimore Orioles are trying to stay alive, down 2 rip in their series against the Texas Rangers. The Rangers play at home tonight, 7 o'clock on Fox. Somebody told me that there was a Monday Night Football game last night, and the Raiders beat the Packers. Again, 7:30, Dick Bremer will be here, along with Janel Klein. Don't go anywhere, because Josh's news is coming smooth up.
The 93X Half-Assed Morning Show.
Our experienced and certified technicians at Standard Heating have been trusted to keep our fellow Minnesotans comfortable and confident for over 90 years. We're ready to do the same for you, providing comfort you deserve since 1930.
And now is a great time to join their team. Standard Heating and Air Conditioning is currently hiring experienced and entry-level HVAC technicians, dedicated to improving the work-life balance of their employees by providing benefits that include parental leave and 401k match. Apply today at standardheating.com.
Former Navy SEAL Mike Ritland keeps it real on the Mike Drop podcast. Former Navy SEAL and current CrossFit King Dave Castro.
Is there one thing that you took away from the SEAL community that you apply kind of in your everyday life?
Here's the reality. So getting out was a no-brainer. Financially able to provide for my family much better with CrossFit than I was with the Navy. But if it hadn't been for CrossFit, I for sure would have stayed in for 20. I loved what I did.
Mike Drop. Raw. Unfiltered. Intellectually sound. Wherever you listen.
Half-Assed Morning Show. 93X.
Till the investigation is over, I really don't want to comment. At the end of the day, you know, we hold all our members to a certain standard, and we just want to make sure and do an investigation that those standards were met.
A Detroit firefighter investigated after nude photos of him at work appeared on social media is back on the job. One of the many photos shared on social media featured the firefighter posing naked inside a city fire hall next to a fire truck. Another pic showed his wiener and his nards, along with his driver's license for some reason. There's another photo that shows the firefighter in uniform, but his pants are down. The firefighter in the photos was investigated, suspended for 29 days without pay, and has since returned to the job. Sources inside the department and firefighters working in the city have expressed anger and frustration with the situation. They said they're upset the city didn't take this more seriously and called the photos disgraceful. The Detroit Fire Administration said the person in the photos is a 9-year veteran of the department who's had no other issues on his record.
So the fellow firemen are upset about this? They think they should have canned the guy?
Well, they didn't say necessarily canned, but should have gotten more trouble.
I wonder if they're jealous because he had like a huge penis or something.
A huge penis?
Yeah, so they're like, I don't want this guy in here anymore.
He had a six-pack, but I didn't see the wiener.
Most firefighters
really?
typically are in pretty good shape.
Maybe they'll end up calling him Nards from here on out. Now that you mentioned it, now that you said Nards out loud, I think that'd be a good nickname for the guy.
Yeah, he pulled it all out.
And I'm not following this huge penis jealousy angle that Ashley's going with. We dudes don't operate like that.
No.
Especially those of us with huge penises. Like in my case, a huge, kind of weird penis.
It is not weird.
It's a weird penis. Omaha police officer spent part of...
It kind of smells weird.
Yeah, it's odd.
Oh, that's too bad.
It reminds me of one of our lovely listeners. It's not a foot, but it sure smells like one, Jesus.
No.
Omaha police officer spent part of Saturday morning chasing down a stolen ambulance. Authorities said an ambulance had been taken from the emergency room unloading zone at Mercy Hospital about 7:30 a.m. Firefighters ran after the ambulance, but weren't able to catch up to it. Several stop sticks were deployed, but they were unsuccessful as well. And at times, the ambulance also drove against oncoming traffic.
He just don't sticks. He's going off-road. He's going south on the on the sidewalk.
A police helicopter was called in to assist the ambulance as it drove through northwest Omaha with several cruisers following. The ambulance cut through a high school parking lot as soccer matches were underway. The vehicle appeared to have blown a front tire and was smoking from its front end. The driver, identified as 29-year-old Austin Reiser, eventually pulled over after a stop stick was successfully deployed about 2 hours after the initial call.
The vehicle eventually pulled over, and they were able to take the suspect into custody.
That guy's never had more fun. No one was injured, but there was at least one accident caused by the chase.
Well, what the hell was going on there?
A former sheriff's captain is facing criminal charges after allegedly shooting a salesperson who visited her home because she thought he was a hitman.
What?
51-year-old Monica Johnson Markwork is accused of shooting a man at her home in Cordova, Tennessee, which is about 20 miles east of Memphis. She was in her living room with her father and then saw an unknown subject on security cameras.
She saw on her security camera a man, quote, running to the front door with an assault rifle and wearing a hoodie.
"They're here," she yelled before running upstairs to hide in the attic.
Oh, boy.
Then the former cop allegedly shot through the door before going back upstairs. They was apparently a reference to contract killers she believed were targeting her. Her son, currently serving a 20-year prison sentence for some disgusting crimes against kids, told her that a local gang had put a hit out on both of them. Detectives determined the man at her door was not part of an alleged gang, but that he was a door-to-door pest control salesman. He was not wearing a hoodie, but rather a polo shirt and a baseball cap. And it was not a gun he was carrying, it was an iPad. According to the Shelby County Sheriff's Office, an adult male was taken to the hospital after the shooting, which happened at 11:45 a.m. September 27th, so it wasn't even dark outside to make those mistakes. Johnson Markwork has been charged with aggravated assault.
Sounds like there's some widespread problems in that family, Josh.
Yeah, they've got some issues. We've got an update to yesterday's story about a Long Island school bus driver caught drinking while bringing students home last week. Turns out the driver won't face charges because police believe her story that she grabbed a hard seltzer without realizing it was alcoholic.
She was so sweet, just being kind to them. I can't imagine she would ever do anything to harm them. Nobody was hurt, but I think it was a very honest mistake.
The 60-year-old, who is apparently a very well-liked bus driver, grabbed a White Claw from the fridge she shares with a roommate. She thought she was drinking a regular fruit-flavored seltzer while driving kids home from Smithtown High School West on Wednesday.
Is that something?
She was fired from her job of 15 years and is now unsure how she's going to be able to support herself. Sadly, she's going through chemo treatment right now as she battles cancer.
Oh, dang.
Police do believe her story, and she will not be charged. The hope is that she will get her job back.
Oh, I hope so. I could see my mom doing something like that.
She felt absolutely awful and had no clue. And her doctor even said, hey, she's going through chemo, and she couldn't taste the alcohol.
Yeah.
So let's hope she gets her job back. Investigators say drowsy driving led to a fiery crash involving a beet truck who crashed into another beet truck.
What?
According to the Clay County, Minnesota Sheriff's Office, responders were dispatched to a crash Sunday morning about 10 a.m. One of the trucks had been sideswiped and was disabled on the side of the road. The second beet truck had gone off the road through a ditch and came to a stop after hitting a tree. The truck was on fire when deputies arrived. One of the drivers, a 41-year-old man from Fargo, told police that he had fallen asleep while driving, causing him to hit the other beet truck. He hadn't been wearing a seatbelt during the crash, so he received some minor injuries. The driver of the first beet truck, an 81-year-old man, also from Fargo, was not injured.
Well, they must really like beets up there in Clay County, huh?
I guess.
Got two beet trucks going at once.
I personally am not a fan. Hopefully they were headed out of state when they were going.
Get him out of here.
A Colorado woman and neighborhood bird herder known as the Turkey Lady received a disorderly conduct citation Wednesday following an altercation with another woman. Marianne Strouch said she was helping the turkeys cross the road near her home when a driver sped along her and nearly hit her. Strouch, said she tapped the back of the car with a stick she uses to herd turkeys across the road. And the woman got out and confronted her.
She insisted on calling 911 and having the police come out. And then we were all detained out here for about 2.5 hours. I think it was really unnecessary and uncalled for.
Police confirmed that. That's about what you'd expect the Turkey Lady to sound like.
Yeah, that was perfect.
Police confirmed both women were cited for disorderly conduct. Strouch said she's been helping the turkeys cross the road near her home for quite some time, and that's becoming more difficult as more development continues in the area. Thornton City Council member Karen Bigelow said she's worked with Strouch to install turkey crossing signs in the area, but is asking the city to do more to slow traffic. Strouch said despite the incident, she will continue helping the turkeys cross the road each night to get to their roost.
They sleep in these tall pine trees here. I try to help the birds to be safe as well as I feel that I'm helping the motorists as well. As a matter of fact, most of the people really seem to enjoy the birds and they really appreciate me being out here helping the birds.
Wapple, will you do a podcast with this lady?
I love her. I'm going to do a podcast with her and the moose soup lady.
I got to hear you and the turkey lady going back and forth on topics of the day.
Political topics.
Some on social media are even offering to pay her fine and accompany her to court to show the turkey lady their support.
The turkey lady.
A Florida woman was arrested after she threw a sausage and a Coke can at a cashier during a heated altercation. Deasia Cobb was arrested and charged with battery and disorderly conduct after the incident, which unfolded last Wednesday at a Quick King gas station. The cashier told deputies the incident started when Cobb confronted her. The two reportedly shouted insults at one another, causing the verbal altercation to turn physical. That's when Cobb grabbed a sausage from the hot tray and its tongs and hurled them both at the cashier. The sausage hit the cashier in the right wrist, the tongs in the right leg. Cobb then left the store. The cashier, pissed off at this point, grabbed the sausage off the floor, went outside and threw it at Cobb's car. Cobb retaliated by throwing a Coke can she had just purchased and the same sausage at the cashier, who this time was able to avoid getting hit.
It's terrible. Terrible violence.
In an unusual incident Thursday, deputies say a 41-year-old named Michael Ray Few forced his way into the Lake County, Florida Detention Center. Around 9 p.m., Few could be seen on security cameras trying to break into jail.
What the hell does he want to get in there so bad for?
He was seen entering the jail's lobby and acting like he was hiding from someone and then yelling that a person was trying to kill him. He allegedly moved a metal detector and squeezed through a small opening leading into the jail's x-ray machine to bypass a secured door. Before entering another lobby, which has restricted access, he's accused of damaging some computers along the way. When law enforcement confronted Few, he allegedly charged at them. That was a bad idea as they tased the bejesus out of him. While searching the man, officers said they found a meth pipe, which may describe the behavior.
Meth pipe.
Yeah.
Meth pipe was the answer.
Police evacuated Pacific Park on the Santa Monica Pier yesterday afternoon after a backpack-wearing man climbed the iconic Ferris wheel. The incident began around 3 p.m. when witnesses heard the man allegedly make comments about being in possession of a bomb. At some point, the man scaled the famous Ferris wheel and refused to come down.
See him right there, sitting right above the Pan Pacific logo there. What this person is doing, what they want, it's unclear at this point, but the Ferris wheel has been stopped, and you can see the fire department, they've been having to use this crane to actually try to get some folks that have been stuck up in these carts for quite some time.
A crisis negotiator team was called into the scene and was in contact with the man in hopes of getting him to surrender.
The man working his way down slowly, he came from the center of the Ferris wheel itself and worked his way down. He was missing a tennis shoe on one of his feet. He was having some difficulty getting some traction with the sock on his foot.
After about an hour of talking with the man, he began working his way down the structure, where he was quickly apprehended by police just before 4:30 p.m.
He was able to make it down to the very bottom there, just above the basket, and that's when those officers moved in to take him into custody, detaining him.
No reports of any injuries, and there was no explosive.
Jesus, what a waste of time.
A Minnesota teacher set a new world record in California yesterday for the heaviest pumpkin. After growing a giant jack-o'-lantern gourd weighing 2,749 pounds.
2,749! Half Moon Bay is in the record books. That's a world record! World record!
They were pumped in California.
God, it sounds like it.
The Anoka man won the 50th World Championship Pumpkin Weigh-Off in Half Moon Bay, south of San Francisco, with an enormous lumpy orange pumpkin that could produce at least 687 pies, they said. And the pumpkin has a name.
This pumpkin is called Michael Jordan, and it got its name, obviously, because it's the year of 23, and he was the greatest basketball player of all time. But what people don't know is it started out basketball round, like perfectly orange pretty. And I said to everyone, I'm like, this is going to be a perfectly round basketball-shaped pumpkin.
The 43-year-old pumpkin champ grows his gourds in the pumpkin patch in his backyard. He said this year he decided to give his plants extra care, watering them up to 12 times a day and feeding and fertilizing them a bit more than usual. The Anoka Technical College teacher, that is, has been growing pumpkins since he was a teen, inspired by his dad, who also grew them. He won a $30,000 prize for setting the new 2,749-pound world record.
This thing's not going to weigh on a 4x4 scale. I said it needs something bigger. I mean, the thing's 7'5" long by 6'7", so it's pretty big. But yeah, they had to buy a new scale for it.
The previous world record for heaviest pumpkin was set by a grower in Italy who produced a 2,702-pound squash in 2021.
These people are growers and showers.
They are, a little both.
A couple of my buddies, I'd say 7, 8 years ago, they made a run. They attempted to make a run at the state's biggest pumpkin. They wanted to be featured at the state fair like you see when you walk through the agriculture building. So they dedicated a lot of time. They planted a pumpkin or whatever you do. I'm not completely sure. But every day they were pouring some kind of super grower swill on top of the damn thing. And if I remember right, it was a keeper, but they couldn't quite get it up to schneid with, some of these state record holders.
I bet they're pretty proud of it. How did they transfer? Well, how much did it weigh, do you know?
I don't remember. To be honest with you, I got very bored with it after a while. Every day we were getting some kind of a stupid pumpkin update from these dorks, but I'm just saying, they made a run at it.
Hailstorm singer Lizzie Hale, 40 today. Dale Earnhardt Jr., 49. Former Viking Brett Favre, 54 today. And David Lee Roth, as we mentioned earlier, turned 69.
Former Viking Brett Favre.
That's the only thing I can think of. He's a Viking, right?
David Lee Roth. I know what you and I are listening to on our way home today. Crank up some DLR, right, Cubby?
That's right. I was listening to A Little Ain't Enough earlier this morning. What a tune. What a tune.
It is a great one.
Happy 29th to Abby in Canada from Hatch Daddy Jesus. Happy birthday to Ashley's 5th husband, Jesus. Tattoo-ademic Jesus sends in a happy 70th birthday to his mom. Sadly passed 4 years ago. He says, R.I.P., love you, Mom. Happy 17th birthday to Andover Husky Jesus from Insurance Husky Jesus. This text says they want to give a shout out to their daughter, Beth Ann, and her husband, Andrew, a.k.a. Gingerita, who got married this last weekend. Let's see. Bush Light Trucker, Jesus said it's the second wedding that he's paid in 63 days. And he's off the hook now until next summer. Boy, you better save. That's a lot of weddings.
Total nightmare.
We welcome back mediocre machinist Jesus, who, just like Nick, is a recently married man. Congratulations to Rockin' with Dockin' Jesus, who just put in his notice at work and is looking forward to better things ahead. That's 93X News.
Minnesota Twins interview on the Half-Assed Morning Show.
Riley in the air to left field. On the run, Marsh. There it goes! Austin Riley has given the Braves the lead in the eighth. He deals a 2-2. Castellanos in the air to right center field. Harris is on the run. Harris at the track. He leaps and he makes the catch. Harper might be doubled up. The throw gets away. The throw to first. It's over. It's over.
I'll be damned. The ending of last night's Phillies-Braves game was absolutely mental. We'll get to that. She's going to be a big one today, Randy Shaver, over there at Target Field, don't you think?
She certainly is.
Going to be a big one. Randy's here to talk about it. So is Janel Klein. I wonder how many baseball stories Janelle heard back when she was dating and living with Jose Canseco.
Oh, gosh.
A lot.
Never ending.
I bet you heard a lot. And, of course, if we're going to talk about a big Twins playoff game, we need to hear from the mayor of Minnesota baseball, Dick Bremer. Good morning, Dick.
Good morning, everybody.
Well, here we go. Game 3. Are you going to these games, Dick, or are you just content to sit at home and watch them?
I'm going to the home games. It has been so much fun at Target Field. Just think where we were a week ago when we did this segment. The Twins hadn't won a playoff game in 20, 40, 60 years, whatever it was. And they won Tuesday. They won Wednesday, had a huge win in Houston. And now, believe it or not, they've got the home field advantage to the extent it even exists in the playoffs this year in the series with Houston.
I know. This is absolutely outstanding. We've talked up and down about how raucous the crowd was in that series against the Toronto Blue Jays, and I just can't even imagine with a split in Houston. I can't imagine how up for grabs it's going to be today, especially if the Twins get a lead or some kind of a fantastic, positive play early in the ball game.
Yeah, you replayed the incredible comeback for the Braves last night over the Phillies. So in this round of the playoffs, the home teams are now 2-6. So I'm not sure there is a home field advantage, but if there is, it will be at Target Field. The fans have been tremendous. The atmosphere has been awesome, and the baseball's been pretty good, too.
3 o'clock at Target Field. I didn't even check to see what channel it's on just because.
Fox.
Is it Fox? Okay.
Yeah, it's a doubleheader, so it's the first game. Baltimore, Texas will follow.
And we'll get to that as well, that series, too. Sonny Gray on the bump against some jerk. Who cares? I don't. No, Christian Javier, who has a solid record, not near the ERA that Sonny's hauling around.
Well, and this might be the game where the left-handed batters for the Twins will be able to step up because the Houston Astros do not have a lockdown left-handed reliever on their roster. This guy's a righty. His name isn't Justin Verlander, so maybe this will be the game where the Keplers and the Wallners and the Julians and people like that, Kirilloff, maybe they'll step up and get the biggest hits. So far, the biggest hits, almost all of them, have come from the right-handed batters like Correa.
I mean, what do you have to say about Carlos Correa and Pablo Lopez in Game 2? I mean, not that it's of course, it's always a team effort, but Lopez and Correa were the stars of the show, and that was just awesome. We talked about it yesterday. What do you have to say about it?
Well, everybody knows Carlos's regular season was a disappointment. He wasn't hitting for most of the year. Now he's getting the hits. He's come up with some incredible plays in this series and really through the playoffs at short. Lopez was just dominant. You look at, I was watching the game last night, and Wheeler for the Phillies had some problems now in the 7th inning. Well, Lopez breezed through 7 shutout innings in Houston against the defending world champs. It was a wonderful pitching performance by Lopez. And if this series goes 5 games, it will be Lopez apparently against Justin Verlander.
Dude. Yeah, that ought to be something. Well, let's just, I say forget about game. I said this
Yeah,
yesterday. Forget about Game 5. Let's just sweep them here, right, Randy?
Yeah. Take care of it today. This is the biggest game, obviously, of the entire series because it's today. And Sonny Gray has been fabulous. We talked about this before all this even started, how important starting pitching was going to be. We've seen it in this series more than maybe any other series so far in either the National League or the American League. It's come down to great pitching by the Twins, and hopefully that will continue today. I'm curious, Dick, do you know how the Twins match up against Javier? Did they face him this year? What are your thoughts on Javier?
Yeah, I don't have the numbers, but I know that he's a big come down from Justin Verlander in terms of a right-handed starting pitcher. So I really do think the left-handed batters for the Twins are going to be key. You've got switch hitter Polanco hit the big home run that almost got the Twins back from the dead against Verlander in Game 1. That big home run was hit as a left-handed batter. So I really would like to think that the lefties can have a little fun today and maybe get the Twins that early lead that they really took off and ran with in the ball game in Game 2. So it'll be fun. The weather's going to be great. Target Field's going to be rocking. I can't wait to get there.
You know what I really want to see now? I mean, I'll take anything if it means a win, but you know what I really want to see? So folks' heads just pop smooth off their effing shoulders this afternoon. Wallner pokes one into the upper tank.
Oh, man.
Jesus. Since we didn't get a chance to talk to you yesterday, something else I wanted to ask you about Game 2. I use the word iffy to describe the home plate umpire. You got any comments on the home plate umpire from Game 2?
Yeah, it wasn't, they have these analytical reviews of how an umpire did behind the plate and who, which team he favored, not intentionally, just, the way the game was called, balls and strikes, and it was, I think, 2/3 of a run in Houston's favor. And you see that, and again, I don't think there's anything intentional about it. Umpires, like players, get swept up in the home field aura, if you will. It's one of the reasons teams have in the past anyway had a difficult time winning at Yankee Stadium. But it was like 2/3 of a run in Houston's favor, and so now the Twins have that home field advantage, which may subconsciously include the home plate umpire. We'll see.
Randy Shaver was furious at that home plate umpire, but admittedly, Randy, you were pretty intoxicated, right?
He's an angry drunk.
That had a lot to do with it.
He's on the phone buying a plane ride to Houston. I said, no, calm down. You're not going to be flying to... So here's all that's going on today. Other than, the 3 o'clock game, you got to have a little bit of hoopla, as my dad would say. And the first pitches today will be thrown out. Well, the first pitch today will be thrown out by Johan Santana and caught by Joe Mauer. Dana's looking forward to that. You're a big fan of the both of them?
Yeah, very much so. Those were, because I was 5 years old in 1991, so I never really caught on the Twins fever until those 2002, 2003, 4 teams. And those will always be the teams of, kind of my youth.
Sure.
Fair enough. Johan throwing the first pitch to Joe Mauer. Another flyover going on. DJ Dudley D will be spinning and entertaining Twins fans before the game inside Gate 34. Dick, do you know DJ Dudley D?
No, I do not. And I want to draw the line because, near as I can tell, they don't actually jockey discs like I did back in the day when you actually played records, right?
No, they do not.
There you go.
He was the private DJ for Prince, DJ Dudley D.
Oh, wow.
Okay.
He's a pretty famous dude.
We were just talking about Prince earlier, weren't we, Josh? What? No, they don't haul around the records like you did, Dick Bremer, when you were the dark shadow of... What the heck was your on-air name again?
I was the Duke in the dark.
The Duke in the dark. DJing at St. Cloud State, right, Dick?
Actually for a top 40 station, KCLD, Up in St. Cloud. Yeah, it wasn't a college radio station. They actually paid me money to do that, and that was an interesting experience. We played 45s and 33 1/3, and I had a success rate of about 70% when it came to playing the records at the right speed.
Do you remember any of the hit songs at the time?
Oh, yeah. What was maybe your most spun record?
Peter Frampton was the hot guy back then, but the Bee Gees were coming into prominence, which is one of the reasons why I couldn't wait to get out of it, because I didn't like disco. We're talking Eagles and Boston, Chicago, and Fleetwood Mac was big back then too.
That's great stuff.
That's good.
That's outstanding. And you had a big crate of records you had to haul around.
Well, we had a room with stacks and stacks of albums, and then old like 8-track cartridges for the commercials and all that, and it's all done computerized now. So
groupies?
It's a different world.
Were there groupies?
Oh yeah, countless.
Well, but I mean, sure, but did you do on-location shows ever? Because we hate those, and at least this radio show hates broadcasting from different locations. It's a massive nightmare, and the engineers all hate us, and we hate them. And did you ever do on-location shows where you had to bring your big crate of records?
Not that so much, but we would do remote broadcasts from a car dealer regularly on Saturday mornings. I actually bought a car on the air once that I couldn't afford because the dealer wanted to sell one on the air, and so he picked on me, and I was making whatever minimum wage was back then, and I ended up buying a cherry red Firebird.
Oh, wow.
Off the showroom floor.
Dude, that's where the groupies started showing up.
Yeah.
Cruising
and
around.
that lasted usually until any of my passengers realized the car did not have air conditioning.
Oh, cranking Frampton out of that son of a... That must have been sweet. Ooh, baby, I love you. How much time will you guys give me to sing Peter Frampton? Very limited, or?
I'll give you 7 seconds. That's it. That's all I got.
Now, look, Dick, you can tell me to mind my business if you like, but you were talking about how you are going to the home games, which is great. Good for you. Tell me to mind my business if you want, but do you have, I just read about this. I just learned about this yesterday. Dick Bremer, do you have a lifetime pass?
I do not. Actually, the discussion came up within my family over the last couple of days. I believe, first of all, for the players, if they get 10 years in, they get a lifetime pass. Mm-hmm. And I believe for front office employees and such, you have to get 25 years in, but I've only been a Twins employee for 20-some years, so I don't believe, at least if I'm eligible, I haven't been notified that. I think I got to put in a few more years yet to get that. It's apparently really nice. You just show your card and they give you 2 tickets to a ball game.
Yeah, I mean, cool. Not that I ever thought that, Kent Herbeck and George Brett or whoever had to pay to go to a baseball game. Of course not. But what I didn't know is there is a physical pass, like Dick was explaining, that the big leagues give to a player who's had, I think, 8 or 10, like Dick said, 8 or 10 more years. But it also noted in here, front office executives and other employees. So I was curious.
That's so cool.
About
I
your
would feel
situation.
So awesome.
I can't believe, Dick, they wouldn't just grandfather you into 25 years. Yeah. My gosh, you've been broadcasting the Twins
let's
games
make
for
this clear. Anytime I want tickets, the Twins have been very accommodating. That's never been an issue, which is why I'm not fully aware of what threshold you need to reach, because anytime I've needed tickets, the Twins have been very accommodating. So
sure.
But I guess it would be nice if in retirement I find myself in Arizona and wanted to go to a Diamondbacks game. It'd be nice to have the card and get 2 tickets. I don't know. We'll see.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. I don't know why this subject came up, and I forget the website, but they talked about the Major League Baseball lifetime pass. How nice. Now,
Bro Bible.
Bro Bible? Mm-hmm. Thank you, Cubby. Why don't we get lifetime passes to rock concerts and stuff?
Every concert.
I want to see Frampton and Chicago and all those bands for the Eagles. All right. The big league divisional games from yesterday. We played audio from that terrific comeback by the Atlanta Braves They beat Philly 5-4. They've tied the series at 1 win apiece. But if you watch the end of that ball game, wow.
The double play was just amazing.
First off, you get is the name Austin Riley?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's the third baseman. Yeah.
Riley hits the 2-run home run, I believe, in the bottom of the 8th to give the Braves the lead. The crowd is on edge as hell there in Atlanta, thinking, oh, God, we're going to go down 2 games to rip.
Exactly.
He hits the dong to give them a 1-run lead, and one-run lead is how you say it. And then in the top of the 9th, the Phillies have a man on. I think it's Harper.
Yep.
A blast to center field. Atlanta's center fielder makes a terrific catch.
Michael
and then
Harris.
doubles up Harper at first base, and the place just went bananas. That was
and
great audio.
If you watch the play, Ozzie Albies, the second baseman, he was the first cutoff guy, and he missed it. He misplayed it, did not make the play. The ball gets past him. Riley was backing him up, and Harper, who was like 5 steps past second base, thinking that there's no way that the ball's gone, or that at least it's off the fence, and apparently. And Dick can explain this better than I can probably, but the rule is a base runner should stay in front of second base to make sure it's not caught. But he was so confident that it was going to be past Harris that he took off. So now he's got to double his way back.
Yeah.
And because the ball gets by Albies, it gets to Riley in a position where he can make that throw to first base quickly. And they get the out, they double up Harper, and what an amazing way to finish that ball game last night.
Mm-hmm.
It really was one of the crazier plays I've seen.
And why is it that we tend to, at least I tend to think of plays like that more than the home runs in terms of memories from a postseason? It's, Puckett against the plexiglass in the 91 World Series. Jeter making his play against Oakland, getting the throw back near home plate and backhanding it to the plate. And let's be honest, Correa's play in Game 1 a week ago today, a play that I don't think any other shortstop in the game would have made, and it's not so much because of the physical talents that Correa has, but it's the mental awareness, the preparation, the ball that got away underneath Polanco's glove, and Correa was standing near second base, scampered towards third, made an off-balance throw, an absolute rocket right on target. For some reason, at least for me, it's the defensive plays in the postseason that stand out more than anything that happens at the plate.
I'd like to use
that play by Correa, Dick, was amazing because he wasn't even really backing Polanco up on that play. He thought Polanco was going to make that play, and so when he realized it got past Polanco, it was a long run for him. I mean, it was a long run for him to even get to the baseball, let alone make an incredible throw to home plate to get that out.
So wherever this postseason leads the Twins, let's not forget about that play, because I don't know that the Twins win that game without that play. And now look where they are. They've advanced through one round, are in position to not have to go back to Houston and maybe win this round. And then, I mean, there's a scenario out there where if Baltimore loses to Texas, and that Game 3 is today as well.
Right.
And the Twins end up winning their series against Houston, the Twins would have home field advantage for the next round of the playoffs, the ALCS. And if the Diamondbacks can finish off the Dodgers and beat either, of the other teams in the National League, the Twins could actually have home field advantage for the World Series. Now, that's a way long distance down the road, but my gosh, it's setting up awfully well for the Twins if they can continue to play good baseball.
Yeah, the Dodgers got to win out now. They got to beat the Diamondbacks 3 straight. Jeez Louise. And you mentioned the Texas Rangers-Baltimore Orioles game is tonight on Fox after the Twins and Astros are all done. The Texas Rangers, now refresh my memory, they had a great start to the season and then really started to lose steam there for a while and snuck themselves in the wild card position, right?
Yeah, and the Twins got them at a good time. They won 5 of the 7 games against Texas in the series at Target Field and down in Texas. But the Rangers were a little banged up. The one thing that hasn't changed, I don't know that they have a reliable bullpen. The Twins' bullpen has been really, really good in the postseason so far, too. So we'll see if that happens, what a nice matchup that might be, and maybe even favorable in some areas for the Twins to get to the World Series.
Mm-hmm. Now, the Texas, we've been talking a little bit about music. Dick was talking about some of the bands he used to spin back in St. Cloud back in the day, those hot mid-'70s bands. According to the story I was reading yesterday, the Texas Rangers, were struggling there for a while after such a hot start. And supposedly they turned their season around by listening to Creed in the clubhouse. Are you familiar with Creed, Dick Bremer?
Vaguely.
Okay. They started cranking this, what was it, Josh? Mid-'90s rock? Is that what Creed represents?
Was it that early? Mid-'90s?
Maybe late 90s. They started cranking Creed, and since then, they've been, they got themselves into the playoffs, and so far have won 2 games in the Baltimore series. And I better, some of you, we might want to remember, turn on the television a little early for this Rangers-Orioles Game 3 tonight in Arlington, Texas, because the Rangers were hoping to get Creed to play the pregame
that'd be awesome.
tonight. But maybe they're already playing a bowling alley somewhere. I don't know. But maybe they want to try to get Creed to play tonight before they throw out the first. I don't know. That's something.
Well, the Red Sox have had that link with Neil Diamond, Sweet Caroline, all these years, and now the Rangers have Creed, and so what? We'll get to the World Series, and we'll get Bob Dylan to sing the national anthem.
Oh, there you go. Oh, man. Well, what do you think of I got a text message here, Dick Bremer, from a listener. Product and Mold Design Jesus, complaining about the start times the Twins are getting for their playoff games, 1 and 3 o'clock and things like that. He talks about this isn't fair. People have to work. Kids need to go to school. He says, but as long as the East and West Coast kids get to watch it on prime time, everything is fine. This guy, he said he's taking work off tomorrow to go to if in fact it's a 1 o'clock game. I think if Texas wins tonight,
it'll be a 6 o'clock game.
The Twins get a 6 o'clock game tomorrow.
That's correct.
But anyway, let's say Texas does. This guy's taking work and his kid's taking school off for the 1 o'clock game. And he says, I suspect many others feel the same way. I'm not sorry I blew up. Again, from Product and Mold Design Jesus. Does anyone have any thoughts? I would rather they were night games. I think the Twins get screwed a little bit in this scenario.
I think
as a TV guy, I always kind of tiptoe around this issue, but it is TV driven.
Yeah.
And whether it should be or not, of course, that's up for debate, but it's because of the market size, the East Coast team, Baltimore, against another, bigger TV market in Dallas. And so it's driven by that. And, again, you could argue whether it should or shouldn't, but it's inescapable. And, of course, the way to solve all that is to go ahead and get to the World Series and everybody gets night games.
There you go. There you go. But it wasn't always that way, was it, Dick? Even in the World Series, there were day games back. Actually, not that terribly long ago.
Back in my childhood, and that was a long, long time ago, all the World Series games were played in the afternoon. There weren't night games.
Right, but
correct.
And
yeah, right. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
As recently as like 87 and 91, it was split pretty much until the Twins got to the World Series, and then everything went to night games. But it's unfortunate. They did try to alleviate that problem a little bit because they gave the National League an off day between games 1 and 2, so it was just 2 games played on Sunday, and then 2 games on the National League side yesterday, and now the National League gets a day off again today.
Yeah, there you go. Well, here we go, Dick Bremer. We're so glad we got you on to talk about today's game and this series in general. It wouldn't feel right without you. We're all pretty pumped. 3 o'clock today, Game 3, Twins and Astros. So let's get her done, and thanks for joining us again, Dick Bremer.
And we're looking forward to, I think, doing one more of these next week.
Let's do one more. That sounds great to me. Thanks, and have fun at the game today, Dick Bremer.
Thanks, guys.
You're welcome. Here we effing go. Oh, wow. The lifetime pass. Doesn't that sound nice, everybody?
How awesome would that be? No matter where you're at, just get into a game.
Yeah.
All right, we can switch gears over to some other things here, Randy Shaver. Although people have been texting in about this Mattress Mac put up billboards here in town to get back at Chris Lindo. I don't care. I don't care. I can't stand this Mattress Mac gimmick. It's just a rich guy playing with money. I don't care. So I appreciate the heads up that Mattress Mac, but I don't care about the guy. I don't care what he does. So Monday Night Football. Anybody bother with this? The Raiders beat the Packers.
Yeah, I watched some of it.
What the hell's the matter with you?
Yeah, that's actually why I stopped. Because I realized, why am I watching this?
There's some controversy. I don't know if anyone cares to get into it. There's some controversy last night during the Monday Night Football pregame show. Robert Griffin, Part 3, might have dropped an F-bomb while he was talking football.
I don't think he did.
Okay.
Did you hear it?
I did.
What did you think?
I thought he was...
It sounded like fudging pretty clearly to me.
That's exactly what I would say.
Okay, anybody else agree? Because I want to play the unbleeped clip, but if one person here thinks it's the F word, then I won't.
I didn't see it, so I
didn't either.
I can't comment.
It's fudging.
It's fudging.
It's got to be. It's fudging.
Yeah.
All right, so we're good. Here we go.
Lamar Jackson needs to be better. He needs to do this. The real question we need to ask is he getting enough out of the guys around him on offense before we start talking about his contract? They're fighting for his fudging life, man. I don't know what more the guy can do.
It's fudging life.
Oh, definitely fudging.
For sure.
People are making a big deal out of that.
Talking about Lamar Jackson and the Baltimore Ravens. He's fighting for his fudging life, man, says Robert Griffin, Part 3. What was funny was they got a panel of dorks up there. It's Robert Griffin and I don't know who else. One of them is Ryan Clark. I keep seeing this guy all over football coverage. I've never heard of Ryan Clark.
Former defensive back.
Never saw him play. But anyway, Ryan Clark kind of dips his head down as if he's embarrassed or something like that. And I think that might have spurred people into thinking that Griffin swore.
It sounded pretty clear that he said fudge.
Agreed.
Here it says Vikings are still evaluating Justin Jefferson's hamstring injury. The Vikings won't rush Jefferson back. They want him
He's on the IR.
He's on the IR.
Yep.
They just placed him on the IR.
Oh, so he won't play in the Bear game?
He won't play for 4 games.
4 games?
At least 4.
Yes.
Oh, Christ.
Yeah, my heart hurts.
Well, that's a hell of
That's
a
not
deal.
good news.
No.
After the great season we've been having.
Oh, I had no idea it was that bad.
Yeah.
Well, there you go. We missed this yesterday. An Eagles fan snuck into their locker room after the game the other day.
Dangerous.
Wow.
So they were playing at home, is that right? The Eagles?
It must have been.
Not sure.
Must have been.
I think so.
Could have been the road locker room. Oh, no, it was... it doesn't say where they played. But anyway, an Eagles fan got into the Eagles locker room, wherever the hell they were playing on Sunday.
We used to sneak into the Twins clubhouse after games in the Metrodome.
To do what?
Say hi to the players.
How?
When you were a little kid?
No, when we were in high school.
How did you do that?
How did you do that?
Yeah.
The football press box, remember in the outfield where
Yes.
the football press box? That would always be unlocked and open, and nobody would be in there. So then we would just take the stairs down, the Vikings locker room would be there, and then we'd go down right field, where the tunnel was, and the foul pole, and we'd just keep walking until we got to the clubhouse.
And you did this more than once and no one cared?
We'd eventually get caught, and we'd just act like we didn't know where we were, we're trying to find, how do we get out of here,
But you got into the locker room.
Yeah.
That's so sweet.
Wasn't there security at the door?
Not really. And
Not really. I remember the security.
Yeah, and it's like anything. If you just walk confidently, act like you know where you're going.
That doesn't always work.
There was also in the Metrodome, there were also into the Twins clubhouse, there's also 2 ways to get in. There was one way, which was the main entrance by the manager's office, but there was also the back door through the training room.
Mm-hmm. So when you got into the locker room, what did you do? Just watch them walk around naked?
Well, yeah, we just kind of say hi to the guys and stuff, and they were always polite. A lot of times too, there was a weight room, kind of a makeshift weight room.
Right. That's a training room.
Well, no, I'm talking about the one by the tunnel, Randy. Where you get out by the entrance.
Oh, yeah.
And the players would be lifting there, and we just chat with them. They'd always be really cool.
That is so sweet,
we had them
dude.
sign our yearbooks and stuff.
Wow, that's awesome. They were that cool about it.
I mean, there's no doubt that security is much, much different than it was even 15, 20 years ago. No
a buddy
doubt
of mine
about
got in the Vikings locker room with a friend of his a couple years ago.
Oh, yeah, I remember that story.
And they got in the ice baths. They went through the locker room.
Oh, nobody was there.
No one was there. But it was shortly after they played catch on the field. And I think what happened, do you remember it was a New Year's Day game, I think against the Bears, where there was people suspended from the rafters?
Yeah.
So security was wrapped up in that. And he and this friend got all jacked up on wild turkey or whatever and decided we're going to go for it. I thought there's no way this happened because the story kept going, all these different things they did. And then he sent me pictures. And they were, them in the ice baths, them on the field, them doing all this stuff. Didn't get in any trouble whatsoever.
That's so fun.
So when it was done, they just walked off and left?
They just ended up going. And I was telling them, like, the first no entrance sign, I would have killed the vibe and said, guys, we're done. I'm so glad it wasn't. I would have killed it. I mean, they went into the owner's suite. They were eating birthday cake from somebody.
Oh, my God.
And they've got pictures documenting all of this.
I mean, if you can get away with that today, that's impressive.
Yeah, like I said, I think if that incident didn't happen with the folks in the rafters, you know, maybe they would have been more busted. They were dealing with that. Back to the Eagles game, it was at SoFi, so it was an away game.
Mm-hmm. SoFi?
Okay. Brand new stadium.
Okay.
Rams.
Yeah, I mean, but 25, 30, 35 years ago, it wasn't this massive police presence and every player's got a bodyguard. But my favorite story of a fan getting access to a locker room was... and I know what you're going to say, again, with the 1991 North Stars, but we were so buck wild and drinking our faces off and having a riot during that run in 91. And, I mean, there was very little security police. It was all the 85-year-old Met Center employees. That was basically the security. I mean, we had one buddy climbed up into the press box and got in an argument with an Edmonton beat writer. He just crawled in there and sat down next to the writer and started saying, because this Edmonton writer had written something negative about Minnesota. And there was no cops, no nothing. He sat there, drunk off his ass, 19-year-old kid, jaw-jacking with this same buddy of mine. After one of the North Star games at Met Center, it was also against Edmonton in the conference final, he disappeared after the game ended. We don't know where the hell he was. Now, every game, we would gather outside the Met Center with the rest of the fans. We would gather where the North Stars exited the arena, and when they'd come out, they'd all dump high fives on us and, go North Stars, that whole gimmick. So we're standing there. We still don't know where Donnie is. Donnie disappeared. We're standing and waiting for the North Stars to come out to give them high fives, and all of a sudden, that door exiting Met Center to come out into the parking lot where the players exit, that door gets kicked open, just boom, and there's our buddy. And he's got the team behind him. He's leading their charge out of the arena after the game is over. And the first thing he says is, "Hey, everybody, it's Bobby effing Smith." And Bobby Smith walks out behind him, arm around Donnie, everything. Nobody cared. Nobody cared until he walked up and he kind of patted Brian Bellows on the shoulder, and Bellows said, "Hey, I got an injured shoulder, get off of me." But until then, the players did not care, and apparently Donnie walked into the locker room after the game. He's talking to the players. He's hanging around. It just was a different time. It wasn't this massive emergency if a mere mortal came within 100 yards of an athlete. I'll never forget the sight of him coming out, drunk off his ass, arm around Bobby effing Smith. Those are great times. What else is going on around here? Well, there were two separate examples of poor fan behavior over the weekend. One way worse than the other. And folks have been talking about this. One was an NFL dork. So Tyreek Hill of the Miami Dolphins caught a touchdown pass the other day. He ran up to the bleachers. He's trying to give the game ball to his mama. But some clown-ass grown man was just so geeked to see a real football player up close like that, he couldn't figure out what Hill was trying to do. Hill's trying to say, "Hey, move over, I'm throwing the ball." And the guy said, "Hey, I'll take the football." "No, dude, move over, I'm trying to." And Hill finally, he's thinking, well, I got to get back to the sideline. So he tries to toss the ball to his mother. Dork face grabs it and kind of wraps it up like he's a fullback. "It's all mine." It was all innocently resolved. Hill's mother tapped him on the shoulder and said, "Dude, that's my son, give me the foot." And he did. But it was just kind of the guy made a jackass out of himself in the process.
I like the guy next to Hill's mother because he's trying to tell the guy, no, you can just see him mouthing it. He's like, "That's his mom.
Right.
That's his mom."
This was the much lesser offense. Not a big deal. The guy just kind of made himself out to be a clown, but a lot of grown folks make themselves out to be clowns at NFL games. The real culprits here Grown-ass men, you got to see this video. Is this up on our website from the soccer game, Ashley?
I don't believe so, no. I didn't get that.
Grown-ass men at a soccer game, Summers, England, God knows where, doesn't matter, it's soccer. Absolutely, seriously, ready to beat the living hell out of a damn 3-year-old because the little boy was rooting for the other team. You have to see this video. This is about the stupidest thing you will see all day. So, yeah, hopefully we can...
And they're not kidding.
No,
the guys.
No. The little boy was flashing the score of the game to these two idiots, saying, my team's up 1-0. The kid's clueless. He's 3 or something like that. And these guys are apparently fans of the other club. They were so livid they couldn't handle it. F-bombing this kid. I mean, they were absolutely ready to punch a child. You got to see that. Eventually, security, I guess, walked down and talked to these two grown men. As it says here in the story, screaming angrily at a stranger who still has baby teeth. Oh, guess what comes up here in 2 days, Randy Shaver? 2 days from now.
Okay, don't know.
The NHL season.
Oh,
really? Oh my God.
Well, at least the Man Bear Pig season. They might actually start tonight or tomorrow night. I don't follow anybody but the Pigs. I know the Pigs season starts.
I think Thursday.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah, 2 nights from now. Isn't today Tuesday? Yeah.
Yep. Actually, I think the season starts tonight.
Yeah, with Nashville and Tampa Bay.
There you go,
Yeah.
like I was saying.
There's 3 games tonight.
Mm-hmm.
Nashville, Tampa Bay, Chicago, Pittsburgh, Seattle, Vegas. That means that kid, Bedard, is opening up against Pittsburgh tonight.
I couldn't possibly care less about anything in the world, to be totally honest with you. But you got to give me a month.
Kind of fun to watch.
Huh?
The Bedard kid will be kind of fun to watch.
Never seen him play. Don't care. It's always going to take me a couple, 3 weeks to get dialed in, right? With the NBA, the NHL. I can't get excited about basketball or hockey in October. I just can't.
Especially with the Twins playing.
Oh,
right.
yeah.
Right.
Especially with the Twins.
But in 2 nights, the Pigs get it fired up. They've released their opening night roster. I'm going to roll through the roster real quick. Forwards, Boldy, Eriksson Ek, Foligno.
No. You're going to have to learn how to pronounce that. He's going to be our Minnesota Wild player this year, Foligno.
We're pretty pumped about it.
Starting tomorrow, Randy.
He comes off like a real nice guy, this Foligno.
No, Foligno.
Foligno.
And I get a little street cred because he's my stepson's favorite player in the Wild.
Oh, cool.
Wow.
Braden, Maroon, Duhaime, Rossi, Dunlop, Dewar, Zuccarello, Hartman, Goudreau, Portner, Johansson, and Kaprizov make up the forwards. On defense, Addison, Merrill, Middleton, Faber, Waterloo, Broden, Goligoski, Spurgeon, the goaltenders, Marc-Andre Fleury, Phil Gustafson, and Vinny Enger.
I recognized a couple of last names in there that must be new to the roster. They also have they share a name with some buddies of yours from high school. Is there a relation? Or is that a coincidence?
No. It'll take me a while to get warmed up to hockey. It always does. But we are really honestly looking forward to getting to know Marcus Foligno tomorrow on the program.
Cool.
ForTheWin.com, they go through this routine at the opening of every regular season for all the major sports. In this case, we're talking NHL, ranking all 32 NHL teams from least to most watchable. They say there'll be a lot of hockey played these next 6 months, and not all of it is good. So to get you ready for the upcoming season, let's dissect which teams deserve your limited attention and which ones you can safely ignore. The least watchable team in the league all the way down at number 32, they say the Philadelphia Flyers. Only a true Philadelphia sports diehard will tune into the rebuilding Flyers for all 82 games this season. Okay? The Pigs come in at number... Anyone want to guess? Out of 32 teams, according to, what's the website again? For the Win. Where do they rank on watchable
Probably somewhere in the middle.
Yeah, that's what I was going to guess, too.
17.
17.
Yeah,
Finally,
somewhere
somebody
else.
with some balls to make it.
Very close.
19.
19.
We always fall in the middle in all these categories, don't we? All of our ball clubs, the state in general,
Yeah,
Right.
usually.
I would say the Vikings are probably a little bit higher just because of Justin Jefferson, but the Wild kind of fit right there in the middle.
So they say here about the Pigs, they project to be a playoff team.
Yep.
Finished with 103 points last season, so why are they so low here? They say Kaprizov has been a juggernaut since entering the league, but the boys don't have much else going for them offensively outside of that. They're a defensive-first team with an incredibly talented stud in Kaprizov, but at the end of the day, defense just isn't much fun to watch in the NHL compared to scoring buckets of goals. I can follow that.
Yeah.
The top 5, New Jersey Devils, Colorado Avalanche, Toronto Maple Leaf, Edmonton Oilers. They say Connor McDavid and Leon Draisaitl are appointment viewing every time they step out onto the ice. The most watchable club in the NHL, according to For the Win, is the Vegas Golden Knights. They say they're returning nearly all the boys from their championship season. They got a real chance at a back-to-back kind of a gimmick. So there you go. Do they never call themselves the Las Vegas Golden Knights? Have they always just been the Vegas Golden Knights?
I think they're just the Vegas Golden Knights.
It just dawned on me last night when I was going through this article.
I think they've always been just the Vegas Knights.
Why do they? Let's see where you want to go with this now. Randy Shaver, do you ever mess around with fantasy hockey? You play in...
I have.
You have?
DFS, daily fantasy, not seasonal.
Okay.
I don't know enough about hockey to do it on a seasonal basis, but on a daily basis, if I read a couple of articles or something, I may dabble in it. It's fun.
You're
certainly very unpredictable.
You're
like
a junkie for NFL fantasy football.
I am. I love baseball.
And baseball.
Yes.
So you've dabbled in fantasy hockey.
Just a little bit.
What I have here from USAtoday.com, the best fantasy hockey team names for the upcoming year, at least the ones they could print without getting in trouble.
And when you're done, I'll throw a couple of NBA fantasy names that I found that I'm using this year that I thought were pretty fun.
Oh, I can't wait. So here we go with the NHL season. You need the perfect team name, they say, if you're going to have a fantasy club. So they have what they claim are the best punny team names from around the internet in no particular order. For all you Letterkenny fans, apparently, no Regretskis.
That's good.
I like that.
That's good.
Hellebuck Girl. Now, I'm not the biggest NHL fan anymore. They've changed the game too much and made it SAWFT soft, in my opinion. But I think that's a reference to the Winnipeg Jets goaltender, Cal Hellebuck.
Mm-hmm.
Hellebuck Girl. Gudis Gold. That's a play on a Florida Panther by the name of Radko Gudis. Hughes, your daddy? Isn't there a kid in the league by the name of Jack Hughes?
That's good.
Yep.
Hughes, your daddy. This one sucks. Wu Letang Clan. There's no bounce to that. There's no rhythm to that. Wu Letang. Is this a movie or a song reference? You're on your own, Sid the Kid? Anybody?
Oh, I don't know.
Fair enough. And there's one here that's a reference to...
How did you not get that, Dana or Ashley?
It went right past. As soon as he started talking, I got it. Yeah, it's Taylor Swift.
Even I knew that one. It's a Taylor Swift reference.
Oh. And here's a reference to a former Golden Gopher, current Toronto Maple Leaf, Matthew Nyes. They go with Nyes Out.
Knives Out.
Knives Out. Yeah, that's good.
All right, dump these basketball fantasy names
how about Webb Embiid?
That's clever.
Yep.
And another one I have this year is no Kawhiing in basketball.
You're personally using those?
Yes, those two.
Those are
no
cute.
Kawhiing in basketball. I love that one.
Those
and
are-
then the last one I love is Bed Bath and Beyond.
Those are good.
You're good. You're good. We're running short on time here. Running short on time, but I don't know why this came up. Maybe, I guess, just because the NHL season is set to go, but a website talked, and I remember this. A website talked about years and years ago when an NHL game was delayed by a live chicken that got thrown out onto the ice, and then the chicken peed all over the ice, likely from absolute terror, because it just had been thrown over the glass onto the... Does anyone else remember this? This was late 80s.
No.
I don't.
I had to read about it.
And
I'd never heard that story until this article from Bro Bible.
Bro Bible. Yeah, I mean, the gimmick with the Red Wings throw the octopus, the Florida Panthers fans throw the plastic rats. This wasn't a traditional thing or anything. March of 88, the LA Kings playing at home against the Montreal Canadiens. Back when the Kings wore those absolutely beautiful gold and purple home uniforms, which they should wear those every effing night. The game was delayed by a live chicken that got chucked over the top of the glass and down onto the ice, and then it peed all over itself. And it didn't take long for the announcers to catch on to this. It appeared that maybe the chicken was wearing a purple cape, and it sat there for an uncomfortably long amount of time in a puddle of its own urine as the game continued. For a stretch of time, the referees didn't notice the chicken on the ice. And the guys are skating up and down, and the puck's sailing by. The chicken's just sitting there going, what happened? I was inside a guy's trench coat 30 seconds ago. That's a historic deal. Nice to touch on some history as we begin the hockey season. They eventually picked up the chicken, and they did treat it for minor bruising at the Los Angeles County Animal Control Center. It was bruised up a little bit. A 30-year-old Kings fan named Craig Rodenfels was eventually arrested and charged with malicious mischief and cruelty to animals. He smuggled the chicken into the arena in a bag before throwing it out onto the ice, and apparently wasn't the first time he'd brought a chicken.
How do you smuggle a chicken into an arena? How does that even
Well, again, this is 1988. We were just talking about how security didn't really matter back in those days.
Yeah, you could easily just put it in your little jacket.
I wonder if you could do that now.
No way.
No,
Definitely not.
Yeah, he brought it in like in a bag of some sort.
Yeah.
I mean, how many places can you bring bags into?
That's
I guess?
true.
You
That
got
to be see-through.
Yeah, you got a clear purse now.
That's true.
He had brought this guy, this Rodenfels, he had brought a chicken to a Kings game before and gotten in trouble for it. But this time he got it all the way into his seat and he threw it over the glass for everyone to watch it pee. So there you go.
One more name for you.
Yes.
Rubio Tuesdays.
You easy son of a bitch. That is funny.
Not bad.
Not bad at all, Randy Shaver. All right, we got to go. We'll talk to you tomorrow.
All right, sounds good.
And have fun watching the game. Coming up next, we'll chat more with Janel Klein.
The 93X Half-Ass Morning Show.
Our experienced and certified technicians at Standard Heating have been trusted to keep our fellow Minnesotans comfortable and confident for over 90 years. We're ready to do the same for you, providing comfort you deserve since 1930.
And now is a great time to join their team. Standard Heating and Air Conditioning is currently hiring experienced and entry-level HVAC technicians, dedicated to improving the work-life balance of their employees by providing benefits that include parental leave and 401k match. Apply today at standardheating.com.
You loved Lala Kent on Vanderpump Rules. Now get to know her on Give Them Lala.
I used to be so down with dudes giving me pet names right off the bat. The second a dude, I first meet him and he calls me baby, I'm like, and we're done here. Goodbye.
Really?
Yeah, don't call me babe, baby, boo, bye.
Interesting. That's
but
a big
I
red flag.
can call them boo because I call everybody boo.
What if that's their excuse?
Yeah.
That's funny.
No, you don't. You're a man. You move different than me.
Watch what Lala is talking about on YouTube or search for Give Them Lala wherever you listen.
KARE 11's Janel Klein.
This is the 93X Half-Assed
Oh, my God. All right, before we get crazy here, towards the end of our conversation there with Randy Shaver, we started talking about fantasy hockey, fantasy basketball, some of the clever names that people give their fantasy teams. I like this one. This is better than any of them on the hockey list we were talking about. Bullet Club Jesus. You know what he calls his NHL fantasy team, Josh.
What does he call
To
it?
Catch a Predator. That's pretty good. That's better than any of the ones we read 20 minutes ago. So here we go. It's 8:32. We have Janel Klein in studio. Hello, Janel.
Hello.
Welcome.
I don't
Thank
care what
you.
everybody else says here about you. You're one nice lady. Absolutely a nice lady. So some of us went to college, right?
Yeah.
Yep.
A little bit.
Janel went to effing Wisconsin.
It's true.
Party school.
That's one of the negative comments that people make about you around here.
One of many.
That you voluntarily enrolled at friggin' Wisco.
It was a dark time in my life.
Did you go there to party? I mean, did you go there because it was the trendy school to go have a blast at?
I don't know why I really went there. Like a lot of decisions I made at 17, there wasn't a lot of thought.
Did you go for journalism?
I did. Yep.
And are they known for their journalism?
They have a good journalism school.
So there you go. There are plenty of kids who decide on their college based on what they want to end up doing for a living, but plenty of them. I mean, most of my buddies went to St. Cloud State, and there was only one friggin' reason why they went there, because it was a notorious school for raising hell and carrying on. Janel went to Wisconsin.
So you obviously graduated, Janel.
Yep.
Bachelor's, or did you?
I have a bachelor's degree, yep.
Okay. And Dana, you as well?
Bachelor degree, yep.
What did you go for?
Journalism.
Journalism as well.
Yep.
I've noticed that Janelle is far more successful than you are
That's not true.
as a journalism grad.
And it's not even close, is what you meant to say, Janelle.
That's right. Ashley, you graduated?
Yep. I graduated from Century. And that was, for me, it wasn't like, I wasn't looking for a specific program. I had no idea what I was doing, and so I went the cheapest route.
You know how we have rivalries between Ford and Chevy people, Marines and Army veterans?
Polaris, Arctic Cat.
Exactly. Electricians versus
Carpenters.
Janel and Dana went to Wisconsin and the University of Minnesota. Janel went to Wisconsin. Dana, you went to SCSU and Minnesota.
Yep, I transferred after my sophomore year.
So you tell me, is Century, do you make fun of Ashley for going to Century?
No, not at all.
Well, I want to ask Ashley, do you and I have a rivalry of sorts? Because I went to Moorhead for just the first semester, whatever, and then I ended up at UCLA, the university closest to Lindale Avenue,
right,
at Normandale Community College. Do we have a rivalry whatsoever?
I guess so. We have to, right? Let's get it started if there isn't one yet.
You have an Associate of Arts, much like I do?
Yep, my 2-year degree, in Earth Science.
You know, growing up, Josh, I always heard as Dunwoody referred to UCLA, the university closest to Lexington Avenue. I don't know if any of that is true, but all right.
Back to your point, asking if Dana and Janelle kind of looked down on me. When I first was looking at schools, especially when I was still in high school, people definitely treated me differently.
For
when
what
they found
reason?
out when they found out I wasn't going to a 4-year school.
Those people suck.
They immediately thought I was just not as smart, and I think personally I thought it was the smart decision because I have half the amount of student loans,
Well, I'm just surprised that there was more than one student from North St. Paul that went to college. I was under the assumption that you were the only one and you only got into Century.
Yeah, I assumed you were a god in that part of the world. Are you on their Wikipedia page, notable people?
They have a
because of
statue
your
of me.
Century College admission? Yeah, my stepdaughter went to Aveda, and she got a lot of crap from her
Are you kidding?
fellow classmates at high school.
They teach you how to put makeup on somebody's face?
Yeah, well, that and a lot more. But
Haircuts and things like
hairs
that?
and whatnot.
That's crazy. There's so many different routes, I guess, you can take to get an education. Janelle, at Wisconsin, did you ever do the walk of shame?
No comment.
I'll tell you one morning, and this is rare that I already said something that you normally never hear when it comes to college. Morning, most of us slept till noon, 1. But one morning, my brother and I both lived at St. Cloud State. All of our buddies were enrolled there and never made it, but they enrolled there for at least a couple, 3 years. My brother and I just went up there and lived there just because we wanted to party our balls off, and we did exactly that. So one morning, my brother and I had to get going somewhere early, which was very, very rare. But this was like a Friday morning, and we just got to putting down the street, heading out of town, wherever the hell we were going. And it was just perfect timing, straight out of a movie. Out of an apartment complex walks this completely disheveled-looking young man. His hair is an absolute rat's nest. He's wiping the boogers out of his eyes, or whatever the term is. He's wiping and he comes out to the side, bright sunshine. He's looking at the street signs to try to figure out where the hell he is.
That's the worst.
And my brother rolls down the window and goes, "Walk of shame, huh?" And he just kind of nods at it. He had no idea.
You consider walk of shame just like you woke up hungover and you don't know where you are and you have to drive home or walk home?
Well, it's more related to random sexual encounters.
Yeah, you hooked up with someone, you don't know what bed you woke up in.
Well, I'll tell you, I don't drive through campus anymore. Here, now that I live where I'm at, I come in a different way, the St. Paul side. But when you came in through the Minneapolis side to work and you drive right through campus, right at perfect walk of shame times.
Yeah.
Well, I don't. Does it count when you're ending your night versus the next morning? Maybe walk of shame's just the next morning.
I think it's the next morning.
Okay, so I take that back. But you would see folks essentially doing a nighttime walk of shame.
I think a nighttime walk of shame is a thing. Sure, you left the bar, you went home with a stranger, you dangled, you came out the apartment, you don't know where the hell you are.
You're looking around, you're glancing at your phone, trying to figure out.
Your phone has 2% battery.
Doesn't have to be in the morning. What was her name and where the hell am I? That can happen.
My favorite walk of shames are always Halloween weekend. You see somebody, you're like, I don't think that woman is a nurse and going to work right now. I think that's a costume.
Right.
Oh, yeah. That's the only walk of shame I ever pulled off. I was in Winona and...
Halloween one?
Yeah, I was dressed as a SWAT person. And
a slutty SWAT person?
Yes, of course. And so the front of the SWAT costume... it zipped all the way down and all the way up. And I remember looking down and it was zipped basically all the way off. And I was like, all right, I need to get out of here. I need to get home.
I want
get some orange juice.
I want my wife to slut it up for a Halloween costume.
I know you've been wanting that for years.
Yeah, I want her to dress up like a slutty Elvira. That might be redundant in a way. Or a slutty Morticia Adams.
Ooh.
Every woman's costume is like an occupation. With slutty.
Point.
Yeah.
Well, there is no other option.
That's what was so great as a single guy to go to these Halloween parties, because you're right. It doesn't matter what it is. It's a slutty fill in the blank.
Right.
Mm-hmm. But Janelle, not to argue with you because you're a guest, but I do have to challenge you on this. There is another option. I'm an expert when it comes to this kind of thing. Sluts. Sure, a lot of it's one or the other. It's a slutty occupation or it's a slutty animal.
Oh, yeah. Sure.
Slutty cat, slutty fox, slutty dog.
All right, you know what? In case my wife's listening, if you don't slut it up this year, I will. That's the threat. I'm issuing that threat. And no one wants to see that.
God help us, you better not be answering the door and giving out those full-size candy bars as slutty...
yeah, that's true. I don't want to end up in handcuffs.
Slutty Bob Ross or whatever you come up with,
You've got a paintbrush in your teeth.
Look, I'm a slutty Bob Ross. I've got 2 afros.
Oh, no! That's terrible.
Wapple, why'd you tell me to make a pubic hair joke in front of our guest, Janelle?
By the way, there are listeners texting in and saying you're using the wrong phrase. It's not a walk of shame. It's a stride of pride.
I like that one better, too.
So, Janelle, back to your college experience at Madison, Wisconsin.
Yeah.
Did you have the typical living away from home college experience? And what I mean by that is garbage house, keggers just to make enough money to have ramen for dinner, fights, that kind of thing. Did you have the typical living away from home college experience?
I mean, I don't know that we ever hosted keggers, but I lived in such a trash house.
Mm-hmm.
I was just talking about it the other day because I was on campus at the U and we were laughing about it. I never took my shoes off the entire year. I don't think any of us did. It was disgusting.
Because the carpet was coated in beer and
do you like
mold.
that? I mean, I also lived in something that bad, and I'm glad I had that experience.
Well,
I wouldn't want to go back to it, but I'm glad that I lived through that.
You appreciate what you have now.
Yeah.
But the funny thing is, I go to campus at Madison once in a while, and I'll drive by that place, and they still haven't touched that building.
Really?
I mean, there are still probably 18-year-olds living there, paying huge amounts of money, and I guarantee that carpet still hasn't been
Same
changed.
carpet.
Oh,
Disgusting.
You know what? We're kind of living in that situation. I think about how
Yeah.
long have you been doing the show, Janelle?
Oh,
8 years, 9 years?
5 years?
Oh, well, 'cause
I don't know.
It's way before that, because when Allie was still here.
Yeah,
you'd been
it
coming
was
in.
when Allie was here.
This
Yeah.
place hasn't been cleaned once since you started. I mean, and people comment on how gross our carpets are. They
Yeah.
are disgusting in this place.
Do you know that one of my favorite days here, I've brought this up before, is when you guys brought in that disaster cleanup crew and they brought in like the black light?
Yeah.
Remember how
That was
ridiculous
terrible.
that was?
There was a lot
it
of
was
semen.
frightening.
It was repulsive.
I thought there would be
Yeah.
a lot less semen.
Really?
also
I thought
thought
there would be more.
I thought it would be very light. It would be semen light around here, but no, this was a full-bodied semen experience.
And the worst part is we brought all that up on the radio, and it still hasn't been cleaned.
yeah, it's still there.
Nobody
yeah,
cares.
Good point. Good point, Wapple.
Back to the college life now. When we, here we are right on the U of M campus. It's unbelievable the beautiful places that these college kids live in now.
God.
Right?
Yeah.
And I really think because I lived in a garbage house when I was living up at St. Cloud State. Janelle lived in a garbage house at Madison. I think that was part of the fun.
Oh,
I totally agree.
Yeah,
It was part
fun.
of the madness. It was just so disgusting. And
Yeah.
I've told the story before where we were sitting around watching a Vikings game, and one guy got pissed at the game and threw a beer stein through a window. This is in December. It's 8 below zero. Throws a beer stein through the window and just sits back down and continues watching the game. That's how horrible this place was. It was. The rest of us had to say, dude, get some cardboard out. It's cold outside. It didn't even dawn on him that anything needed to be done. So what? We're missing a window.
Yeah.
I remember having gross out contests in the way where it was more of a game of chicken on who can leave the dirty dishes in the sink the longest.
So gross.
Wow.
Who's going to break first and clean the toilet, that kind of stuff.
Don't even get me started on the gross out contest. I think I've told you about them here before, and they were really wrong.
Hey, Scene
Wrong.
Clean Jesus, he's listening.
Oh, thank you. Yes,
Scene
he's
Clean
wonderful.
Jesus. Yep,
Yeah.
he came in here. He said, it sounds like we need to make another trip to the studios and do more testing.
Maybe it's better not knowing.
We should, because we didn't test. The studio Nick and I are in now.
Yeah.
True.
We did not test.
That's true. We were in the old space.
Yeah, so there's far less semen in here, I'd imagine.
I really
Janelle
want
saw-
to see
There's
it.
more.
We
Yeah,
all
I wanna see
saw this.
Wobbles.
We all saw the stains, didn't we, Janelle?
It was disgusting.
It was terrible.
I can tell you this. I mean, I saw a gentleman masturbating in the seat Wapple's in right now. That is 100% true.
What do you mean, gentlemen?
Well, I'm being polite.
Trying to be polite.
You mean it wasn't Waffle?
No, it was not Wapple. I know Wapple well enough to know he would not masturbate at work.
Going back to what Nick said about these garbage houses and like the new palatial estates that these college kids are living in now.
Yes.
As soon as me and my buddies left our garbage house that we were renting, someone bought it, and they bought it for their sophomore or freshman daughter and her
Okay.
friends. So they bought this brand new, or this old house, and they redid the whole thing.
Nice.
So the whole thing's
whole
brand,
home?
The whole home. Everything was brand new in the place. We're like, of course, we leave, and then it's brand new. These people get this brand new house.
Well, you could have bought it and did the same thing.
Oh God, no! We never had that much money.
When
What
my
are you talking about?
When my stepdaughter moved out, she lived with a bunch of girls that went to the U. They lived right on campus at a newer apartment building. And like you said, how nice it. Now it was 2 girls to a room, right? I mean, so
Right.
it was 4 girls sharing a relatively small apartment, but it had laundry in the unit. Did you guys? I didn't have that until I think I bought my first house. That I had
Laundry.
laundry in the place I was living versus. I guess that was a dumb statement. I've never had that in an apartment, I should say.
Yeah.
Sure.
Yeah.
No, it's very nice. What they have now is very, very nice. And there's some lucky bitches is what they are.
And now you can use like an air fryer, and you can actually cook in your dorm room and stuff like that.
Is
too.
that right?
We cooked in our dorm room, like with a hot plate. You weren't allowed to?
No.
Oh.
You know the rules? You know the current dormitory rules somehow, Wapple?
Yeah, I used to. Mm-hmm. Like you couldn't have a microwave sometimes in your dorm rooms.
I hear you.
Really? We had
Yeah.
a microwave in ours?
Wow.
I don't know what school he
And
went
this
to.
was 1993.
KARE 11's Janel Klein.
This
This is the 93X Half-Assed Morning Show.
Yeah, here we are, just a setting in studio with Jungle Jane, getting ready to wrap things up. We've been talking about the garbage houses that we lived in when we were going to college back in the day. Eating ramen, drinking keg beer. Randoms in and out the house.
So many randoms.
All hours of the day. Got a text message here from UPS Golden Valley Delivery Jesus. He said, we used to open cans of tuna and hide them in each other's rooms in the Mankato State House that I lived in.
I bet that was rank.
He said months would go by and nobody would do anything about it.
Oh, my God.
When we finally pulled the cans out from under the beds, they looked like a chia pet.
Oh, gross.
Are girls like that, Janelle?
No.
I mean, not the prank part, but just the I'm not cleaning, you clean.
No. I remember college guys having, I mean, like you said, mold and like just stuff where you're like, what is going on? We never were dirty like that. We just lived in a terrible place.
I have a friend who she absolutely loves cleaning.
Yeah.
I wish I had that in me.
Yeah, I can see that.
Well, here's the deal. Yeah, we had some terrible things go on. The pranks got so bad. I won't even bother you with that. It's so disgusting.
Oh, gosh, that stresses me out.
And, it was fun for a while, and then when, poop and used condoms came into play. But anyway, that's when I... So here's the deal. I got a text that said, have you guys talked about this new adopted college moms gimmick for students who don't have time to find a gym membership or need their car's oil changed or shopping done for them? Absolutely ridiculous, says a listener. And that's exactly where I was going with all this. There's a woman who offers rent-a-mom service for college students that will cook and do laundry and even bail them out of jail.
That'd be
That's
awesome.
adorable. I want to do this. I could do that.
You want to deal with drunken idiot college kids getting into trouble and doing their laundry and changing the oil for them in their car?
Yeah, why not?
Because it would be miserable.
I like doing that kind of stuff. Like I like cleaning. I don't know. I like that.
Well, not somebody else's
stuff. I love cooking. I like making messes better.
Do you really? I didn't know that about you.
Yeah.
I know you can make a mean pasta salad.
Heck yeah, I can.
I mean, I'm all for that, actually, when it's my own problem. You know my OCD issues, but for some 19-year-old pain in the ass, you'd have to pay me about $1 million a year to do that.
I feel like if you can't take care of that stuff, you're never going to make it through college.
Probably right, Janel Klein.
Yeah, that's the whole point of college, right? Is that you're now responsible to do those kind of things.
Here's the deal also. I mean, I know once your kid goes off to college, they're more or less on their own, even though a lot of you are still taking money from your folks. You're not completely on your own. I get it. You probably aren't going to get very far as a parent trying to tell your kid what to do once they leave the house and they go off to college. But if my kid ever called me and said, hey, I'm paying this woman, this complete stranger, to come over and do I'd say, no, you're not doing that. That's friggin' creepy. A complete stranger adult in your house doing things for you, picking you up when you need to be picked up. That sounds
Also,
iffy as hell to me.
I mean, think about being in college. You had not that much to do. That is about the most easy time of your life, I would say. If you don't have time to find a gym membership, what are you doing?
Yeah,
you have
honestly.
class like 2 hours a day. What else are you up to?
It takes like 3 seconds to do as well. Like, it's not that complicated.
College kids nowadays can afford a gym membership.
That is the
Things are different.
That's the
it
real
is different.
point.
Josh,
my wife works at a gym, and I refuse to pay for a gym membership.
I mean, what would you say if your son, more importantly, my godson, in 6-8 years, I know it's probably a long shot that he goes to college, but if he does, and he
Very long shot.
And he calls you and says, I've hired this lady named Natalie, and she cleans, wouldn't you say, no, you're not doing that anymore?
Yeah, send her over to Dad, I might say, at that age.
Right. This lady is your mom away from mom. She'll do everything to help a college kid out. Shopping, cooking, laundry.
She should just get married.
This will all be out the window at that point. She'll be doing that for her own family.
Well, Nick, what if it was like an Edna Garrett from Different Strokes and Facts of Life?
She's a wonderful lady.
Yeah, if she was the rent-a-mom.
Mrs. Garrett. Well, it still seems so odd to me. I mean, fine, if you want to be lazy, be lazy. You can't do your own laundry, I get it. You're a young person, you want to be partying. But even if it's an older person and a nice lady like Mrs. Garrett, I would think it's just kind of iffy and creepy and squirrely to have this strange person coming in the house every week to do this or that. That's just my thoughts on the whole thing. But Mrs. Garrett was the sweetest lady in the whole world. You got to pay this lady $10,000 per academic year to basically be a slave for your college kid.
Dang.
F that.
Vacation Jesus wants to know if this mom gets stuck in dishwashers. You guys have told me about this.
And this gal is on call 24 hours a day, 7 days a week.
That is crap pay.
No.
That is awful pay.
You know those drunk college kids are calling her in the middle of the night.
Yeah, she's making pizza rolls at 3 a.m.
Yes. Thank you, Ashley.
She sure is.
My buddy's in jail. Can you go pick him up? Can you grab some weed from my cousin Strawberry? He lives down the road. Strawberry. It's a Cheech and Chong reference. But anyway, I guess that's the route this lady's going. Well, yeah, the college kids just whoop her ass, I bet.
It sounds like something a celebrity would have, right?
Yeah.
Somebody doing all their stuff for them.
And maybe that's part of the draw to some of these college kids. They wanna have that image around campus. Well, that's my cleaning lady.
Yeah, I've got a person for all that.
Just like Dolores Kardashian or whoever the latest Kardashian is.
Same ones as before.
Well, but I'm talking about there's a couple of young ones now that are gaining.
Kendall.
Yeah, Dolores and Kendall. Right. All right, fair enough. We got to pull it, Janelle. We got to pull the plug and get the hell out of here, but we always appreciate you swinging through.
Thank you. I love being here.
And it's fun hanging with a party animal like yourself.
I mean, you guys can't even imagine. You guys.
Best of luck to workshopping new Jesus names, Jesus, on day 2 at the new job. Happy birthday to the following sex machines. Poop Pumping Jesus, turning 32. Wisco Lawn Care Skag Jesus. Big Sexy IT Guy from BFD Jesus. Happy 22nd to Brenna from Bass Slayer Jesus. Happy birthday to Formula One Jesus from Formula One Jesus. And Hoe Bag Jesus from Rice County Bush Light Jesus.
The 93X Half-Assed Morning Show. 93
The 93X Half-Assed Morning Show podcast is sponsored by Standard Heating and Air Conditioning. New episodes drop each weekday. If your podcast platform has ratings, go ahead and give us 5 stars and maybe give our enemies 1. Thanks, and here's a word from our sponsor.
Standard Heating and Air Conditioning is currently hiring experienced and entry-level HVAC technicians. Apply today at standardheating.com.